We're going on the ultimate street food tour of Brooklyn. From the best pizza to sandwiches and everything in between, let's eat our way through this legendary New York borough. We've got Greg back on the channel, native New Yorker and food guide. We are starting at David's Brisket House, and this is a sleeper pick for some of the best cured meats in the city.
It is. This is definitely under the radar. You know Katz's, you know 2nd Avenue Deli, Pastrami Queen. You may not know David's, but you will now.
I'm really excited to try this spot out.
It smells so good already.
It smells so good, and I love the vibes here. It's like an old school diner.
Yeah.
Wow. We're in the right place.
Oh yeah.
My name is Riyad Ghazali. David Brisket House originally goes back to the 1950s. When I came, I took over in 2010. We kept the same recipe, the same theme. I basically took over and I focused on the 3 items, pastrami, brisket, and corned beef, with just a limited amount of menu. We tried to cater to many people in terms of like price, budget. I did multiple sizes to try to attract more clientele. I'm a practicing Muslim. There's a sect of Muslims that will not eat anything unless it's not halal. The same thing, you have the Jewish community where they will not eat anything except it's kosher. And I needed to cater to them. So 2010, when I took over, we were neither halal or kosher. It really took me like about 5 to 6 years to figure out how to source it to get it halal. 2017, that's where we officially became halal. It's still kosher style, but I would never tell anybody it's kosher.
Did you think you've introduced a Muslim community to
I did,
food?
because there's not that many places like this. Probably like the only one that serves halal pastrami, brisket, and corned beef. We have people from all backgrounds. Americans, Africans, Asians, everybody walks in here. Typically, it cooks for 4 or 5 hours, and then we have a little cook the pastrami also for like 3 hours on tight lid. Corned beef, same process, it goes about 4 hours. Basically, we don't do anything to it, we just add the seasoning and that's it. Typically use a slice machine. People use a knife to cut the pastrami. To me, I feel better to cut it with a slice machine where you could kind of measure the slice and adjust it to the liking of the customer. So this is the rye with mustard and the corned beef, the pastrami on a rye. Brisket corned beef. This is brined for about a week, cured until it changes color. This one is boiled, a little bit of acidity, but at the same time not overpowering. Then this one over here, we marinate it overnight and then we bake it in the oven for 4 or 5 hours. You're gonna taste the rub, and you're gonna taste the vegetables as well, and the brine that is cooked in. Now this one is the thinner portion of the brisket. It's cured, it's seasoned, it's frozen, it's then baked, then steamed. It has more flavor than pastrami because of the seasoning. You could tell that they're all the same cut, but different flavor profile.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
One of the best things about David's Brisket House, they offer you different size sandwiches. You don't have to spend 26 bucks for a mountainous serving of pastrami. Whatever your appetite, whatever your budget, you can find it here. This is some of the most flavorful pastrami I've ever had in my entire life. I'm telling you, like just that first bite, I'm in love.
Those flavors there, it tastes maybe a little bit of coriander in there. And that rye bread, you really get a nice flavor from that too. Pastrami texture itself kind of crumbles. You know it's using a machine, it's a thicker sliced pastrami, excellent.
I think Riyadh was a little generous with me because this sandwich is falling apart, which is a sign that I need to eat this faster, but wow, I could devour this pretty quickly.
This pastrami really is just leading off hot. I'm telling you, I've always been a Katz guy, but David's Brisket House, I've been here a few times before. It's always been like right there for me. Really good value.
Human-sized portion, that's the key, because you do think of that huge sandwich experience at like a Katz's or a Sarge's, but this is a sleeper pick and a half. I'm taking off the toothpick and I'm going in for more. This is definitely up there for me with a Katz's, a Sarge's Deli, and now if you're in Brooklyn, I'm gonna say David's Brisket House for the pastrami, for some of the best pastrami in the city.
Just enough mustard on there too, just enough to complement the meat and the bread.
This is halal meat, kosher style, a Muslim-owned business selling historically Jewish food in an African-American neighborhood. If this isn't New York, I don't know what is.
Very local community vibe, and even he said he likes to keep the prices, the smaller sandwiches at a manageable price.
He knew all the customers, he knew their orders the second they walked in. They've kept a crisp business running. It's not a Jewish deli experience unless you got a pickle.
Gotta have the pickles.
Just the right amount of sour. Doc Brown's celery. You can't go wrong with any Dr. Brown's coming to a deli.
Look at that Brooklyn Bridge in there, how appropriate.
And you said you've never tried it before.
No, and it does not taste like celery at all.
No.
So if the name scares you off, don't. It actually is really good. Very refreshing.
I'm gonna try the corned beef. He's gonna try the famous brisket.
Brisket, I mean, it's already really seeping through the bread. The bread's almost falling apart here because they dip the beef in the cooking juice, the au jus. So you have the sliced brisket, and this is not your Texas barbecue style brisket. This is a whole nother animal. Not really, technically, right? But the same animal, different style. Much more subtle. Really has kind of like a home cooked, like comforting kind of food taste to it.
If you weren't from New York and you didn't know about this spot and you saw David's Brisket House, you might think it's a barbecue spot, right? We have the corned beef here. Equally as popular, I think, as the pastrami. And look at this mound of meat. Even for the medium size, I think you're getting an incredible value here. Big bite. I'm salivating looking at this. It's calling my name. It's a lot softer, it's a lot more tender than the pastrami. It's a little more subtle. I don't even know which one I like more. I think I like the pastrami a little bit more because I'm into that flavor, but you cannot go wrong with this corned beef either. I don't think you can go wrong with any of this stuff.
Yeah, it just steps away from the AC train or the LIRR. It definitely reaffirms one of my favorite pastrami's in the city.
I'm blown away by how good this was. I'm a Sarge's Deli fan, my top pastrami corned beef, but these guys are in the equation now. Greg, next up, we've got DeFonte's in Red Hook, and I think if you looked up the definition in a dictionary of old school Italian deli, this spot will pop up.
Absolutely. This spot's been in business over 100 years, and look at the clientele, catering to the blue collar workers here, a lot of firefighters, police. This is a real Brooklyn institution right here.
Well, when there's a line out the door, you know you've come to the right spot, huh? I think we have like half the FDNY and NYPD here as well.
Yep.
And those guys can eat.
So I just rewatched the whole Sopranos again for like the third time, and it's got me really in the mood for a sandwich here. We got Tony, gotta get some gabagool.
The whole cast was here. I'm a Jersey boy, I love the Sopranos.
Best. How you doing? Can I get one Golden Boy special, one Chenzo 13, please? Small lunch. Small, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That moved a lot quicker than I expected.
I know. Fish Friday, they do seafood only on Friday today. Shrimp, calamari, a lot of people ordering that today. Got
a huge crowd, but we got tons of meat here and some of the best sandwiches in Brooklyn.
Beautiful car.
The New Yorker. So our camera guy, James, actually had the interesting idea for us to try to find the waterfront and film there. That's what we're doing.
I feel like this is like in Sopranos when they have like a mob sit-down, mob meeting, just like right in the middle of nowhere.
We're gonna be breaking bread, all right.
We are gonna be breaking bread.
Here we've got the Golden Boy, and I knew from the second I read that menu, this is what I was gonna order. It's chicken cutlet, melted fresh mozzarella, vodka sauce, and prosciutto, okay? You know this is gonna hit.
So I got the Chenzo 13 that's got prosciutto, soppressat has fresh mozzarella, roasted hot peppers, broccoli rabe, which I love, extra virgin olive oil, balsamic glaze.
Greg, actually, I think this is fitting us filming on the waterfront because DeFonte's opened in 1922 as a spot for Italian longshoremen to eat. So this is exactly the way they would do it.
It's appropriate. And look at this, you can't really beat this view right now. I mean, you don't get the skyline, but you get Lady Liberty, you get the Staten Island Ferry going by, you get the Verrazano Bridge right there.
It's not the classic tourist view, but it's still an amazing view.
Absolutely.
And speaking of amazing views, I mean, these sandwiches, they're just calling out to us. Oh man, it's had some time for like the juices and flavors to soak into the bread. Oh, so let's rock. The chicken cutlet and vodka sauce was enough. Adding the prosciutto on top, a little saltier, just a perfect combination.
The soppressat and the prosciutto is just enough saltiness, not too overwhelming. Then you have that creamy fresh mousse coming in really nicely. Get a little sweetness from the balsamic glaze, a little bitterness from the broccoli rabe, and then those peppers in there also being soaked up in that bread.
You cannot sleep on bread in an Italian deli like that. I got the hot sandwich, you got the cold one, so you want to take this home to Jersey. Good to go. You want to walk to the park, this holds up. I just love the layers to this thing.
I think an underrated part about a good sandwich is really just the assembly of it. I mean, you can see just they're experts at making this and just how they layer it and how it's all put together. It's a work of art.
Definitely. You have to know what you're doing. It's like you can't just have good ingredients. They are good sandwich makers there as well. And we saw how busy they were. They do this all day, okay? So they know what's up. I think a lot of people think of like New York, New Jersey as the big Italian pizza hub for Italian Americans. But before pizza even became huge in the US in the 1950s, these sandwiches were around first. This had way more influence than pizza did.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact it's so portable, you see blue-collar workers coming in and out, big brown paper bag, taking a sandwich with them for lunch.
The extra added experience of being right on the waterfront here. Enter the Liberty Warehouse and walk directly to the waterfront. Tons of benches here. And then go explore Red Hook. Red Hook's a super underrated neighborhood in Brooklyn that a lot of people don't know about. We're talking mob business here.
On the waste management, 30%.
25, all right. If you are visiting New York and you don't know where to eat, you've got to take Greg's Street Food Tour of Queens. I've had viewers tell me it is one of the best experiences they had visiting New York. Check the QR code or link in the description. Definitely take that tour.
Love to see you. See you soon.
Greg, we've got Farmer in the Deli, and this spot is absolutely blowing up on social media right now.
It is. I've been seeing them chop up the sandwiches. It looks like a total show we're gonna get in the process of getting the sandwich. So let's see what it's all about.
They don't make sandwiches, they build them. Like barbecue chips. Part of the shtick here is you gotta get chips to get chopped up in your sandwich. You can already hear the chopping going on in front of us. I wanna do the chopped turkey roll. Can I toss you the chips? Toss you, yeah.
Pretty cool experience. I like how seamlessly he just like placed the bread underneath it. It was already ready to go.
All right, we got a little show. Now we're gonna see how this tastes. Greg, I know that you were a little bit skeptical of it. I gotta tell you, it actually looks pretty good. It looks more like a tuna sandwich to me than it does a turkey sandwich with how chopped up it is. They've been open for over 20 years, so I don't know how long the chopping shtick has been going on, but they've absolutely been like everywhere on social media, so.
Seen the ones on Instagram with the mayo, it kind of look like slop, but this looks a lot better. There's no mayo in it.
We got the honey turkey, lettuce, tomato, Swiss cheese,
spicy mustard,
vinegar, pepper.
Yeah, on a roll.
On a roll. Better than I expected.
Spicy mustard is key here. I think if this was with mayo, I think I really would not have enjoyed it.
It's like the mom cutting up the food for the toddler. Like I have a toddler at home. We don't chop up his food this finely, but oh, look at that. It easily falls out too.
You know, I was just about to say, I think it actually keeps everything together better this way, but I might be wrong about that.
I proved him wrong. Even though you can order tuna there, just like having a really finely sliced up turkey, I'm getting a lot of the mustard though. Like I'm noticing it more than ever.
Me too.
So it's like you're mixing up the condiments a little bit more than normal, because typically you got mustard, it's just on one side of the bread or the other. Have you noticed any of the chips, by the way?
You know, I was just about to mention that we kind of neglected to talk about. You can grab any chips or Cheetos, anything you want, like Akiway style. You literally throw it to the guy behind the counter to make it. It had a couple of crunchy bites in here from those chips. Little bits in there. I'm getting them like very subtle in the taste department, more in the texture department.
Now I got the barbecue chips and it's adding a lot more flavor to it. The line is slow because you have a bit of an interaction with your sandwich maker there. People are very specific about what they want. Spend 10, 15 minutes chatting with them.
It is a very local favorite there. You can tell it's an institution in the neighborhood.
But heck, man, I think we keep looking back to the Akiway. He's like the godfather of these crazy sandwiches, right?
Makes you a sandwich you can't refuse, right?
And I have to say, of all three, this is by far the most unique and different of the sandwiches. And we're both saying how much this is kind of growing on us. Like it's messing with our minds a little bit, like your typical sensations of eating a sandwich. But I mean, don't knock it till you try it.
That's the thing. I think the way it's all chopped up really makes it seem like hefty. Something about it. Like when you take bites, you're getting bites of everything. Kind of well evenly distributed, I have to say.
It's like a really chopped up salad. Sometimes you see stuff like that. They'll chop everything up, but in sandwich form, I mean, lately in New York, what can you not put in a sandwich, right?
The cool thing about today with like all three sandwich spots, Jewish style deli that was halal, and we went to a classic Italian deli for Italian sandwiches, and really more of your classic corner store deli, like bodega style.
We got something for everybody here. Today we're eating our way through one of New York's most popular neighborhoods, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. From breakfast to pizza, and one of the most unique burgers in the Big Apple. Hope you brought your appetites. We're gonna eat. With a name like Super Burrito, you might think this is some random hole in the wall, but what if I told you they have one of the best breakfast burritos in all of New York? I feel like I just stepped into a 1980s movie set. Wow, I love it already.
My name is Eugene Cleghorn, and I'm the owner of Super Burrito. Yeah, I'm from San Francisco, California, and I moved here 18 years ago. Super Burrito started on the boardwalk in Rockaway Beach. We had 3 summers on the boardwalk. It was a great time. We grew into a brick and mortar in 2020, and then expanded to Williamsburg in January of 23. I'm trying to represent food that I grew up on in SF. Mission style burritos is a big part of my upbringing. I was raised by a single mom. She would like give me $5, I would put it in my sock, I would go hoop for a while, and then I'd pick up a burrito on my way home. And then when I moved to New York, that mission style flavor wasn't around. I just put it together mostly from memory, just like thinking about all of the flavors that I missed the most and just like putting it all together, always thinking about how to improve and how to represent SF. 415 forever, Bay Area.
It's like an intentional retro vibe you got going on.
Yeah, the orange and black for the San Francisco Giants. And then the retro feel was my business partner, who is no longer with the company. He was just like really into like old like Taco Bell ads from the early 90s and late 80s. And he had a really nice like visual aesthetic and like a feel for how things should look. So this is 320 Club. In San Francisco, there's a lot of bars that are named after the address. So this is 320 Bedford Avenue. Back here, open till 2 a.m. every day.
You order burritos till 2?
You can order till 1 a.m., 7 days a week. This is a little lounge. Like a lot of this stuff are like nods to where I'm from. And then this is the bar. If you go to SF, there's a ton of bars that are like really lived in. They're just old school, wooden, and that's what we wanted to represent. So these tortillas we get from San Jose, California. One of the most well-regarded spots in SF, La Taqueria, they use these same ones. They're La Colonial. We steam the tortilla with Monterey Jack cheese. This also rehydrates the tortilla. And then onto the foil. We'll do a quick scramble of about 2 eggs, tiny bit of salt. So quick scramble, soft scramble. Put that on the tortilla. And we're gonna add some chorizo. Just pork chorizo, it's really nice. So we'll take a smear of guacamole. Lots of this salsa roja. In SF, all of our breakfast spots have hash browns. We'll do a quick roll. So then we crisp it up on the panini press. Get it nice and golden brown. This also kind of further melts the cheese and gets everything nice and incorporated. So we wrap this up. Nice and tight. I'll cut it in half for y'all. So that's it. It's very simple. So this next burrito is something I've been working on. This is short rib and refried beans. Nice and juicy. I braised that for like 12 hours. Again, we'll do egg, but on this one, it's a little bit different. Like I kind of want to make like a flat, round piece of egg that will like fit onto the tortilla and then wrap around everything else. So now we'll put the beans on the cheese, add the egg, and then we're gonna take this short rib, place it here in the middle. I have some friends in Bed-Stuy that make this incredible creamy habanero sauce. We'll put a little bit on here because it's pretty spicy. And then I add the green salsa to this one, a little bit of pico, sliced avocado instead of guac, and that's it. Again, very simple, but properly done. Okay, quick little crispy. I'm excited for y'all to try this one. No one's tasted it. You're the first people to taste it, aside from me, yeah.
Their famous breakfast burrito, and I love the simplicity of it. I can safely say I've never had a burrito before that had a hash brown in it, but you're not finding Mission-style burritos around every corner in New York, which is what makes Super Burrito so special to me. And if you read this sign on how to eat a burrito, they tell you, do not take it out of the wrapper, it will fall apart. Although looking at the prep, it is just holding together so well. You know, the first thing I noticed when I took that bite was the tortilla itself, the flour tortilla. It was so soft and nice and crunchy too. I got a good bit of that chorizo. It wasn't too overpowering with the flavor. Adding the hash brown to this, it's so soft and comforting. Fluffy eggs, the guacamole on the bottom, the salsa rojo, just the right amount of kick. Putting the green salsa on top just elevates this burrito to a completely different level. I don't go out of my way to order this very often, but this has got to be the best breakfast burrito I've ever had in my entire life. And I know that Eater, and they called it the best breakfast burrito in New York, and I agree. I wish this place was around the corner for me because I would turn into a breakfast burrito person, guaranteed. Sometimes in life, you just get lucky, and I am the first person to try this short rib burrito that he's been experimenting with, and he says it'll be on the menu by tomorrow, and he really wanted my opinion on it. Well, I gotta tell you, just from the looks of it, it's a work of art. Man, that short rib, so juicy and tender. He was saying they were using some special salsa from Bed-Stuy. It's got a little kick to it, but I like the heat. I like that we're bringing the heat in the morning with this. Even the way that they cook the egg different, I think there was a lot of thought that went into this short rib burrito, and I could see this being a bestseller here. Now, for my hardcore California burrito fans, the San Diego, LA style, as he said, they do sell it here. It has French fries, typically carne asada meat. My friend Jay Cation, if he's watching, big San Diego YouTuber, we gotta come in here together. I loved hearing Eugene talk about how this was a childhood dream of his. And that's something so common in New York. You hear about owners, like it's their dream to open up a spot. And New York is a city of immigrants, a city of transplants, a city of people not from here. They bring a little bit of that culture to the city. And I think Williamsburg is the perfect spot for Super Burrito, because not only can you get fantastic burritos starting at 11 a.m., but after 5 p.m. on weeknights and 12 p.m. on weekends, they got the cocktail bar in the back. So you could come here for nightlife, you could come here for lunch or for breakfast. You're from the Bay Area, you're gonna love this spot. You've never been to San Francisco, get a little piece of it right here. For people in their 20s moving to New York, Williamsburg is one of the go-to neighborhoods. We're walking on Bedford Ave right now, which has every type of store imaginable, thrift shops, restaurants, bars, tons of coffee shops. This is the hub of Williamsburg. Santa Fe BK. This is not something you find on every corner, a spot dedicated to food from New Mexico.
I'm John Waterberg, co-owner of Santa Fe BK. My partner is my lovely wife, Melissa. I'm originally from Albuquerque, lived in New York City since 2001. In 2007, I was working, oddly enough, at a restaurant called Santa Fe, attending Barr. A beautiful woman walked in to apply as a waitress. It was my future wife, Melissa. We fell in love in Santa Fe in the backyard that summer, drinking margaritas. When I took Melissa to meet my family in New Mexico, she was blown away by the food. So she said, we need to recreate Santa Fe, but make it a real Santa Fe that serves real New Mexican food. And then we need to create a space where other people can fall in love, just like we did over the margaritas.
Someone who doesn't know much about New Mexican cuisine, what is it typically?
New Mexico cuisine, really what sets it apart more than anything else is the Hatch green chilies. The Hatch Valley is a valley in southern New Mexico. You can only get Hatch green chili from the Hatch Valley. Nothing else will taste the same. You can even take Hatch Valleys elsewhere and grow them and it just won't have that flavor.
What are your best sellers?
Hands down, the green chili chicken enchilada, smothered Christmas style. A close second to the green chili chicken enchiladas is the green chili cheeseburger, and it's literally just what it sounds like. Cheeseburger any way you can imagine, and then just heap the green chili on it, and you've got the green chili cheeseburger. There are literally thousands of variations, and touring the state and eating green chili cheeseburgers, you could probably do it for years at a time and never eat the same one twice.
And how hot are the Hatch chilies?
The ones that we import from New Mexico are of the medium range because while most New Mexicans do like their chili hot, we had to really keep in mind that our target market out here is the East Coast gringos. And so we have ways of heating it up for, you know, the locals, the real ones, and those who are into it. But
What's the code word if you want it really hot?
just
tell you.
yeah, burn me. Burn me.
Medium's fine. Medium's good. Medium's good.
And medium's got a good heat to it. It's a nice, warm, cozy heat.
These are the 6 ounces. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna flip it. These are the cheese that I use.
Swiss and American?
Yep. So now, the fun part. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit. You always want your burger to have some flavor. Sometimes the bottom will be a little soggy, so I'll retoast it. So when you taste it, the cheese melts like directly in your mouth. Ain't no burger like a Santa Fe burger. All you're gonna do is just keep on coming back. Gentlemen, there you go.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
I appreciate it. Lunch is strictly to go, but if you're lucky enough to snag one of these 2 fine red chairs here, you got a front row seat. That branding is everywhere. I love how they branded Santa Fe BK. Well, we've got 2 firsts here. I've never tried a green chili cheeseburger, and I've never used a water pipe as our plate. Oh my goodness. This is $9. I think it's actually a very solid lunch deal right here. My favorite part was how she put it back on the grill for an extra minute on both sides, just so the cheese was running through this. It is still piping hot 5 minutes later. A true story, I lived in the Southwest US for 2 summers in El Paso, Texas. I've been to Albuquerque, never ever tried this. If you had told me to try something called a green chili cheeseburger when I was in my 20s, I would have said, heck no, I'm afraid. But look where life has taken me, and now I'm actually pumped. Look at all the green chili just coming right out there. I think it's daring me to go from that angle. Let's rock. Just how juicy and soft that patty is. They get the beef from Paisanos in Carroll Gardens, which is an amazing butcher shop. He was saying you can't waste Hatch green chili on anything. Everything here has to stand by itself, and I really think that it does. From the two types of cheeses, from the Swiss and the American, to the juicy, juicy patty, and of course that green hatch chili holding it all together with that kick. I really regret not trying this when I was in Albuquerque like 10 years ago. I really regret it. They bring in 2 tons of the hatch chilies from New Mexico. You know, they could have used something else and gotten a similar taste, but as he was saying, you need it for this. I can see why it's so popular. They have a great nighttime service as well. Check their website for reservations. Now, if you're curious how the green chili cheeseburger came to be, there is a story, I don't know if it's true, but apparently at the Owl Bar and Cafe in San Antonio, New Mexico, scientists working on the Manhattan Project would come in and order cheeseburgers with a side of green chili. One day the dishwasher didn't show up for work, so the bowls that held the chili were still dirty and couldn't be used. The cook simply added the chili directly to the patty, and a classic was born. Whether or not that's just an urban legend or not, I don't know, but whoever invented this is definitely getting a lot of props from me. Important to note, the green chili cheeseburger is only available from noon to 3 p.m. and at 12:35, it's already sold out. They are very well known for their breakfast burritos as well. I know we just did Super Burrito, but if you want some comparisons, you want to go on a breakfast burrito crawl, this would be a good second stop. I also like the slogan of this spot, where the land of enchantment meets the county of kings. I mean, think about it. How many New York pizza spots are there around the country? But to find a restaurant dedicated to food from New Mexico, in Williamsburg, say what you will about it being too hipster, being too expensive, having too many Whole Foods. This is the perfect neighborhood for a spot like this. You were definitely right. I'm gonna be coming back for that. It was so good.
Told you. Ain't nothing but a Santa Fe burger.
If we're gonna do a neighborhood food tour, you know we have to throw in a pizza spot. Finney has been here less than 2 years and has already made quite the splash. One of the top slices in all of Williamsburg. You'll see why. And we've got 2 of their more famous slices, tomato slice and the white slice. I think this fits the vision of the owners pretty well. I had a chance to talk to them off camera, and he was saying that this is similar to the slice shops they grew up with. Obviously, they're elevating a lot of the ingredients here. This is, I would say, a real Williamsburg experience, like sitting outside on these lawn chairs here, like we're at a 4th of July picnic. So we've got the tomato slice, which is $5. This is by no means the cheapest slice in New York. You are paying a premium for this. It's got San Marzano tomatoes, garlic breadcrumbs, and Calabrian chili oil, all added after it comes out of the oven. So this is the one I heard a lot about from a good friend of mine, Greg, if you're watching. Well, everybody knows Greg from my channel. The interesting thing about this slice is that it has absolutely no cheese whatsoever, which makes it vegan. Yes, a vegan slice, but maybe not the vegan slice that you were thinking of. Not much of a flop, looks pretty sturdy. Let's take our first bite as that bus pulls up. Yeah, how are you, man? Good, man, we're about to, what's up? Yeah, we're trying out some pizza here at Finney. Let's try this tomato. For someone like me, whose favorite slices are really saucy, I find this really interesting. The garlic breadcrumbs are just like first and foremost when you take that bite, and you get a little bit of kick from that Calabrian chili oil. But the San Marzano tomatoes, that's like the king of New York City pizza when it comes to tomato sauce. If you're into like a saucy slice, you're gonna like this a lot. So I've had vegan pizza before with like fake cheese, and I didn't like it. This is a vegan slice I can actually get behind. Definitely not your average pizza here at all. They were telling me the white slice is actually even more popular than the tomato slice, and this has got 3 types of cheese: fresh mozzarella, Parmigiano, and Fontina. And you've got lemon on the side. I even put some on. I was talking to somebody, and he told me that his 2 favorite slices in the neighborhood are the burrata from Lindustry and the white slice from here. He said this made him rethink pizza, and this has no tomato sauce on it. So we went from a slice that had no cheese to a slice with no tomato. Completely rethinking the game here, all right. All those fresh cheeses just slap you in the face with a little bit of that zest from the lemon. So creamy too. If someone is a huge sauce fan, I think I like the white slice even more than the tomato slice here, which is like shocking to me. But the quality of these cheeses, it's just standing out so much. I think that Finney really, personifies Williamsburg well, showing how you have the owners opening up a shop with like little plays to their favorite childhood spots. You see the signage inside. It looks like an old school Brooklyn pizzeria. And the great thing about Brooklyn is there are still places like that around. If you want to go to a Luigi's in Park Slope, you can find an old school pizzeria that still does great stuff. Come to a Finney, new school, doing slices that a lot of other places aren't doing, elevating the game. Yes, it's more expensive, but that is the direction that pizza's going right now in New York. You're seeing spots that put more importance on the dough, on the cheese, on the ingredients, and because of that, prices are going up. But this is the current trend in pizza, spot like Finney's, and I definitely recommend them. Today we're going on the ultimate New York pizza crawl. We'll be visiting 5 South Brooklyn slice shops, all with their own unique charms. We're gonna be led by a born and bred Brooklynite who eats pizza for a living. Hope you brought your appetites. All right, Antonio, doesn't it get much better than Luigi's?
It does not. This is the place you would see in a dictionary. If you were to look up Brooklyn Pizzeria, it would look just like this.
I love making pizza. I never had to work a day in my life because this is the easiest thing I could do. And I think pizza is Brooklyn. Italian tomatoes, rich Italian tomatoes. I love using my grande. I float it on. Makes for a beautiful, incredible pie. Some olive oil, the magic of pizza. Good olive oil. 50 years of doing this. There isn't a pie that comes out of this oven that I don't look at and say, wow, I want a slice of that pie.
Look at this reward we've got. Look at this. You know, the last time I was here, I kid you not, a guy walked in and he said, I'm bringing this box to Buffalo, New York, which is like 8 hours away from my daughter.
Yeah, Luigi's, as of late, has become internationally known. This pizza is made the old school way with love. They don't cut corners here. The owner is there all the time, and that's special. That counts for something, guys.
Gio is saying how he inspects like every single pie that goes in that oven. He is a man who is serious. And look, I know in your review video you said it, almost no flop here. It's just a sturdy slice.
And you know what I look for in a pizza is a nice balanced crust. You want it crunchy, but you don't want it like a breadstick.
Let's take a bite. Oh my. I just love the flavor of this pizza, man. The cheese, the tomatoes, everything is
sauce,
fresh, really thin as well. This is not your standard plain slice in New York. It's unique.
Absolutely. Thinner than the typical New York slice. It's really thin. It's a lot thinner than Joe's, in my opinion. Unlike other places, everybody raves about New Haven pizza. Folks, New York is where it's at.
You're not gonna find tourists here. The people that are walking in here, a lot of them live in the neighborhood. These are local places. That's what I love best about doing a South Brooklyn tour. This is the heart of Bensonhurst, right?
Where I grew up, man, it was just, everything is a stone's throw away. We didn't have Amazon back then, we didn't need it. You wanna buy sneakers, you wanna buy clothes, whatever it was, there's a place out on a Bensonhurst street.
It's changing, huh?
We didn't have Chipotle back then.
Antonio's in the zone right here because you grew up at this spot.
I feel like I'm home. Oh, the sight of that Sicilian.
You gotta have the right knuckles to make the pizza. If you don't got the right knuckles, you can't make the pizza.
I'm just admiring this right here. Getting real.
All right, bon appetit.
Thank you so much.
Bon appetit, guys, all right?
As soon as I gained the ability to walk, I've been coming here.
I see the way you're looking at this place. I see your eyes, like the nostalgia. It's just... All right, so we're just gonna pretend it's like your 8-year-old birthday party and you're right back to where you started so many years ago.
I've had more birthday parties here than in my own place. You know, we move around a lot nowadays. People go from different apartments every few years, and so these places, it's the same 4 walls, and so you walk in and it's like, oh, home.
So much cheese on top, and you were saying this is like a prototypical square slice, not like L&B, which is the upside down with the tomato on top. We got the cheese just staring right at you there.
Yeah, this is the classic quintessential New York Sicilian style. Like I said, we call it the square, but this is the main draw for many people. They want all that cheese, just more pizza.
Cheers. It's so pillowy, the texture.
So light, so light.
It kind of melts in your mouth. I've never had a slice quite like this one before.
Most square pizza in New York City is very dense and spongy. It's so rare to find it like this. It's light, pillowy, crispy bottom. It ends with a massive crunch.
If people don't realize it, you run a YouTube channel where pretty much all you do is review New York pizza places. Subscribe to the channel right now if you want the lowdown on like all things New York pizza, trust me.
I do exclusively pizza for a living. This guy's eating me under the table today. I haven't seen a crumb on John's plate all day thus far.
Look, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, okay? Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video, and if you're somebody that watches my channel, you definitely value knowledge. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring and creative classes for anyone who loves learning. Look, we're doing a pizza tour today, and I loved the class I took with Nick Anderer, Italian Chef Secrets, how to make perfect thin crust pizza. Even though I'm not much of a cook, it actually gave me a newfound appreciation for all the hard work the pizza makers in New York City have to go through. Another epic class I took was with Marquez Brownlee, YouTube Success, Script, Shoot and Edit with MKBHD. He taught me a lot about cameras and just thinking about YouTube in a different way. And the great thing about all these classes is that you can even speed up the talking rate because I know how busy you all get. The first 1,000 of my viewers to sign up using my code or link in the description will get 1 month free of Skillshare so you can explore your creativity today. Thanks a lot. LMB Spumoni Gardens, established 1939. New York City history right here.
There's no place like L&B. You feel like you're at a block party.
You guys, look at this. It's like a movie scene here. It's a Brooklyn movie scene. Everyone's just outside enjoying themselves. And I mean, it's Brooklyn. Look, I've been here before. I had a great time.
When it comes to the Sicilian, some people prefer the corner. Some people prefer the side slice. Some people don't want any crust. They want the full bang for your buck. Sauce, cheese, spread to the edge, and that's when you get the middle slice. Corner slice, please.
Can I do a middle?
Looks good.
I was fast, like 10 seconds. Antonio, I think it's important for people to know that LMB is the godfather of the upside down slice.
They pioneered this style, and everybody loves it because you're getting a lot of sauce. There's 2 cheeses on it, more flavor for it.
I love the spongy crust and the tomato sauce, like the flavor just jumps right out at you. A little bit sweet, pretty unique for New York City.
You don't find this style of pizza too often. There's nothing like having an upside down Sicilian at the place that pioneered this style. The sauce is the standout when you come to L&B, absolutely. I've been here, John, I can't even count the times. This was my uncle's favorite spot. These places become a part of you, become part of your life in a way that you'd never imagine.
Huge groups are here, a lot of families have brought their kids. I love that about these Brooklyn pizza spots. These are like generational destinations.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's your record for L&B in one sitting?
Guys, look at me. 5 slices is nothing.
I can do 5 slices, but it's gonna knock me out for the rest of the day. That's gonna be a really long nap after. I think a mom and a grandma eating pizza in the front seat of their car. Like, doesn't get much more Brooklyn than that.
Everyone's in a rush in New York City, guys. I mean, I myself have paper plates in my glove compartment.
That's how you can tell he's serious right here. We want to show you something that you probably haven't heard of before. Lucia Pizza, Avenue X. You know, what's on Avenue X? It's got to be dirty in like the best possible way, right?
Pretty damn good food in the neighborhood of Sheepshead Bay.
Exactly. It's good. Yeah. So how long have you guys been here?
4 months.
Okay.
So I've been here for 4 months, but my mother and my father had a place for like 45 years.
Okay. What was it called?
Paglioni's. Stopped in 2017, and then in the pandemic, I came back, started experimenting in mom and dad's backyard, like wood-fired stuff, mostly wood-fired stuff. That's why the dough is really light and fun. It's not a super traditional New York dough.
I mean, there's hundreds of pizza places in New York City.
Right.
How do you stand out as a new place?
I think it's also about the lineage, respectfully going back to like what my mother and my father did for so many years.
Yeah.
Always room for improvement, constantly learning new tricks as we go along.
Innovation.
Was that a little ode to DiFara with the olive oil on top?
Yeah, I mean, Dom DeMarco over at DiFara, nobody was putting basil on pizza before him. I look for this stuff.
Just looking at this, we know this is going to be absolutely fantastic.
It takes time. Dress this pizza up, and he doesn't have to put all the grated cheese on there and that beautiful olive oil. He doesn't have to do that. In New York, you can make bad pizza and get away with it.
Hell, I'm pumped. Let's try this. I'm pumped. Crunchy from the first bite. You told me to look for that as soon as we got here. I'm loving the vodka flavor. It's just right.
And yes, I do look for that crispy first bite. I want that crispy first bite. And this pie delivers.
Maybe we're seeing the evolution of New York pizza right now because we have shown classic spots which are going to be here, I hope, forever. You've got new spots like Lucia's here doing some artisanal stuff, doing it a little bit different but still staying true to the roots.
Pizza is definitely evolving, not just in New York City, but all over the world. People are taking more time to ferment their doughs. The crust looks almost wood-fired.
I have to say, like, this tastes healthy to me as well.
Good point, John. It makes it more digestible as well.
Yeah.
When you take time to ferment the dough.
I haven't been this impressed by a new spot in a really long time. You do it? You got pizza dance?
This is the pizza that makes me dance.
This sucks that this is not in Queens, because I'd be going here every day.
For a second, I thought Ben actually hated it. Scared me.
Got you.
You know what they say, that the skinny guys can really pack it in. You would think I'd be finishing every crumb, but I gotta watch myself.
Playing the offense, playing defense.
Defense wins championships.
Offense gets the glory. Carroll Gardens, such a beautiful neighborhood. We've got some business at Baby Luke's, which is the slice shop version of Lucali, one of the most famous pizza shops, not just in Brooklyn, not just in New York, but in the entire world.
In the world, world-class pizza, absolutely. Lucali, one of my favorite pizzas.
This looks fantastic. This looks so good.
Oh, 2 slices.
Margarita?
Yes.
Yeah.
No problem, got it.
Look at this. Fresh out of the oven.
So vastly different than the other Sicilians we had earlier, right?
That's what I love about today's video, is that every spot has had a different flair to it, every single one. To be a really good cheap date spot, they have pre-made Negronis, Mezcal Negroni.
Negroni and pizza.
Who knew?
Really am impressed with the looks of this pizza. The last time I was here, I think I got a bad slice.
Yeah.
This is looking really, really aesthetically pleasing on all levels.
This has got kind of a little hipster element to this place. I mean, they're serving cocktails. You know, we've seen Sicilian today that was really saucy, like upside down slice.
And more traditional. This is more definitely on the artisanal side. Just look at those air pockets. Look at that. Look at that aeration. It's just so light.
There's a lot of spices, herbs. I'm tasting a lot of flavor on this, like very different than the other pizza we've had today so far. The flavor profile, completely different.
I agree, and that char has a nice smoky element to it. And it goes so well with the natural sweetness of a tomato sauce. I just love that. I just love that.
I love this scene right here. Just staring at the beautiful brownstones of Carroll Gardens. This is totally a vibe.
Yeah, if I had to pick one place in the city to live in, this neighborhood makes top 3 at least. Guys, before I sit down, I just gotta go 1 notch less on the belt. We had quite a few slices of pizza today.
Or just do what I do and not have a belt, period. That helps a little bit.
Yeah, when you hang out with John and do a pizza crawl, leave your belt at home.
Walking across the Brooklyn Bridge could work up quite an appetite, which is why we're showing you the top food spots and hidden gems in DUMBO, Brooklyn's most popular neighborhood for tourists and an underrated foodie destination. Let's eat. Steps from the Manhattan Bridge is a hole-in-the-wall noodle shop that could be one of the best hidden gems in the entire area. After you. What do you think?
I didn't know what to expect because of the outside, but it's so cool. Like, they did such a great job with that small space. I really like that part.
I got the vibe like we stepped into somewhere in, I don't know, Tokyo, in a little small noodle shop. Could you tell us like the story of how Lucky Rabbit came to be?
Yeah, I took this space during COVID, but I've lived in this neighborhood for 13 years, so I kind of knew exactly what the neighborhood needed. And actually during the branding process and during the development process, my little bunny rabbit passed away. And then I decided to name it after him, so I came up with the name Lucky Rabbit. The menu's a fusion of a lot of my travels around the world. I lived in Bangkok for 3 years, and I've been a chef for almost 30 years now. But this is mainly food that I would cook for myself. I just needed an outlet to put this menu together. So I tried to make it as vegan as possible. Almost the entire menu, we can do vegan option or with our protein.
What would you say are your best sellers?
We have 2 signature dishes. My braised beef noodles, then we have our spicy spicy chili garlic chicken. Our dumplings are really popular. We make truffle mushroom sweet potato dumplings. We make matzo ball soup dumplings.
I'm curious, what are the challenges of running a business in a space this small?
Running a business is challenging in any regards, but we're limited here. You know, I only have 2 fridges. All the food we have for the day is what we have. Everything is fresh every day. I go to the market every day, bring in fresh product because we don't have space for more than that. We're gonna make the braised beef dish. These are our Shanghai noodles. So we get these fresh every day from Chinatown. Big handful of those. Those will cook for 2 minutes. So this is a 12-hour braised brisket. We cook it on this pot overnight. We turn the broth that it cooks in into a really nice, thick, creamy sauce. We put a bunch of fresh Thai basil in there, scallions, and then we're just gonna warm this up. Nice, brown, crispy. We just add that in with the beef. All right, and then we'll put that in a bowl. So we add a little bit of our ginger scallion sauce to the top of that. Finish with more scallions, cilantro, fried shallots, kazami shoga ginger. So that's the beef dish, braised beef noodles. This cucumber dish is like my personal favorite dish. I love it. Start with a couple of handfuls of nice organic fresh cucumbers. Cilantro, more Thai basil, scallions. Our ginger scallion sauce. Sauce is inspired by the great New York noodle town in Chinatown. So I just did my version of that. This is tahini, so chili lime powder, fried shallots. This is mushroom seasoning. It's an interesting ingredient. This is what we use for salt, but this is just a mushroom concentrate. It adds like a real interesting flavor to our dishes. Squeeze a lime in here, and then we finish with kazami shoga ginger. It's a salt-cured pickled ginger. The matzo ball soup dumplings, we're making these cute little cups. These are the dumplings. They're a matzo ball filling with chicken, so those are gonna go in there. We have some delicious chicken soup. It has a bit of more Asian flavor than a standard chicken broth. Put up some water on there, and then cover it up. We'll just add a little bit more of that chicken soup. Some nice fried shallots, and some fresh dill. All right, that's it, man. And then we'll do the same thing with the truffle mushroom sweet potato dumpling. These are a vegan dumpling we make. Same treatment on this one too. So that's gonna crisp up on one side, steam on the other side. Black truffle sauce we make. So that's black truffle with activated charcoal, vegan mayo. We'll put some scallions on there. A little bit of that fried shallot. Some of that nice red ginger. That's our truffle mushroom sweet potato dumplings. A couple of our signature dishes.
It is amazing what you can do with only 300 square feet of space. Like all these imaginative dishes and the different plays on your typical Chinese, Taiwanese, Asian cuisine. We got their signatures in front of us. What are you thinking looking at this?
Everything looks so good. I don't even know where to start. Like,
I want her to start with the chicken and matzo ball soup dumplings, which went viral on the internet. And I am going to have the truffle mushroom sweet potato dumplings. I love the presentation too, before we even take a bite.
This watery. Here we go.
Yep. The first thing that comes to mind for me here is how balanced all the ingredients and the flavors are. I've never had a dumpling quite like this before, but as somebody that loves sweet potato, love truffles, the combination, the textures, it's so good.
There are so many flavors going on. They hit you one after another.
I mean, matzo ball soup, very popular in New York, huge Jewish community, but matzo ball dumplings, should this be a thing?
This is a thing right now, right here. Love it.
The Eastern Cukes, this was Jeremy, the owner's favorite on the menu. I didn't know vegetables could be this tasty. This is how you get your children who don't like vegetables to eat their vegetables, right?
I can't stop eating them.
It's got the Asian marinade, the tagine, scallion, cilantro, kazami ginger.
Oh my goodness.
You can see the thought that went into each and every ingredient here.
Everything.
We're about to dive into the signature, which is the Lucky Rabbit braised beef and nudes. Braised prime beef, onions, scallions, fried shallots, cilantro, lime, and of course, the noodles.
Here we go.
All right, ready? I just tried the beef so far. I haven't even really played with the noodles yet. So juicy, so tender. Oh, I steal some of yours?
Yep.
We're battling right now.
Yes, we are. You can feel the meat melting in your mouth with all those delicious juices going on.
It's definitely the owner's take on it, and I like what he said. Like, this is the type of food he wants to eat when he's home and he's relaxing. It's its own unique style, and I mean, that's what I love about filming in New York. You get so many different fusions, so many originals being developed. This is definitely one of my favorite hidden gems that we've come to in a really long time.
I'm speechless.
All right, never had a matzo ball dumpling before. You know, I grew up with matzo ball soup. I would have preferred these matzo ball dumplings in my matzo ball soup, to be honest with you.
Next year for Passover.
Lately, I've been on a vegan kick on the channel. Vegan Thai iced tea. Never tried that before. It's not overly sweet. I've had too many of these that are just too darn sweet, but this one.
Yeah, you're right. It's so good. Thank you.
Oh, see?
I like everything. I can stop eating everything.
What's also great about this menu is most of the things are vegan if they don't have meat and gluten-free. You're traveling and somebody in your group has dietary restrictions. This is a good spot. Although I wouldn't recommend you bringing 10 friends here. You're probably not going to get a seat. As you can imagine, could be busy here. Might have to take the food outside. That's okay. Eat it with a view.
Once you step inside, you really forget where you are. And then when you get your food, you definitely forget everything. You're like, where am I?
That's what good food can do, for sure. Take you away from your worries for a little bit. And this definitely qualifies. If you've never been to DUMBO before, a couple years back, we shot a really detailed guide on all the top attractions in the neighborhoods. So after you watch this, you may want to check it out. Inside the doors of this very touristy food hall could be one of the best barbecue spots in all of New York. Right back through here, Bark Barbecue. Dominican, Texas style. And it's no shock that they have by far the longest line in the entire market.
Bark Barbecue is basically a silver lining of the pandemic. I was cooking in the backyard, fell in love with barbecue through a YouTube video, went down that rabbit hole, ended up buying a gas-assisted smoker, and here we are.
How did you come up with the whole Dominican meets Texas style?
I wanted to know how I can actually merge and integrate my culture and my flavors into barbecue. Luckily enough, everybody's been really receptive to it and really open to trying these new flavors.
Have you ever had people from Texas come in and tell you what their take is on this?
There's quite a lot of people from Texas that have came. We just had a huge editor of Texas Monthly come through, have our food. Right now, barbecue has what I would call the barbecue boom. So you have people from all different types of countries, colors, and flavors just coming in and trying to do their own thing.
What would you say makes your style Dominican?
We use imported Dominican oregano on all our meats. When you really think about Texas barbecue, you think about salt and pepper and probably some other things, but you wouldn't think about oregano, a lot of chili powders. And one of the sleepers I would have to say that everybody ends up loving is the maduros. Everybody, when they come and they have the maduros with those fatty meats, they're actually very pleasantly surprised that it goes so well.
What are your best sellers?
So I have to say, obviously brisket. Also our chicharrón, Dominican style, which is basically skin-on pork belly. We smoke it and we fry to order. So it's something that's really, really nice, fatty, crispy. And then our smoked carnitas. In the Dominican, we do carnita de res, so it's with beef. Usually you'll find that in Mexico to be with pork, but we do it with beef.
How does it feel when you look out and you see this like a long line waiting?
Oh, it still doesn't hit me yet that people actually wait online for the food. People act like I want them to wait online. I wish I can go through a line fast. So here's a brisket. This is our #1 seller. So now I'm gonna split this down the middle. So we got our lean, we got our fatty. Mucha grasa. She wants mucha grasa, meaning a lot of fat. So these are Texas burn ends right here. Our brisket, we season the day before the cook. Since it's such a thick piece of meat, it allows like the salt and all the spices to actually penetrate. We're talking about probably like a 14, 15-hour cook. And we do prime brisket, so it's a little bit more forgiving in terms of rendering fat. That's the fatty part of the brisket. Great quality meat, great cook. So that's our chicharrón, that's our pork belly skin on. Smoke it for about 6 hours and fry to order. Otro de chicharrón, el otro de ribs. That's the beautiful thing about barbecue. People meet each other on the line, they're already conversing, interacting. And sometimes I don't even gotta advertise the food. Like the lovely lady right there just advertised it for me. That's our mac and cheese, famous mac and cheese. So these are our ribs. Our ribs are smoked for like about 7 hours. Yeah, we do like a little glaze with our molasses-based barbecue sauce. 2 chopped chicharrón and brisket sandwich. That's a very popular sandwich. So this is something that one of my guys here, Julio, came up with. Somebody wanted both, so he just chopped it up all together. And it's a great mix. And it's a pretty basic sandwich. Some pickled onions, for some acidity to go through the fat, but it's just a great bite. And this is where I have to say where the Dominican and the Texas style merge together. And our pulled pork that we season kind of like South Carolina style. So we make like our own little vinegar sauce. We didn't even plan on being like a well-known sandwich spot. When you have the right combination of things and they just click.
We've got about 50 pounds of barbecue here. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to eat this. All right, Adriana has been waiting ever so patiently for this.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of meat.
I don't even know what to start with.
Pulled pork.
Pulled pork.
Yeah.
I like pulled pork. All right. Oh my God. Like I felt a Dominican twist right there.
You know, what he said that stood out to me about like the Dominican side was, one, they import oregano from the DR, the molasses as well for their barbecue sauce, also from the Dominican Republic. So there's those little subtleties with the meat that you can notice. And Bark Barbecue, changing up the game a little bit with this fusion. This brisket, so tender. Love the fatty part of it.
Oh, it's so good.
Now, if anyone's curious how much this would have cost, the answer is I have no idea. He generously gave us this entire platter to show you guys. I imagine it would have been pretty costly to do all of this. Chicharron, probably the most Dominican thing on the menu. And he was actually putting a sandwich together that was half chicharron, I think half pulled pork. And he said, like, this is the fusion that we're talking about. Let me see. The chicharron is has like a smoky pork flavor, and the pork grind's really, really crunchy. What I found interesting was he was equally as excited about the side dishes as he was about the main courses, because a lot of these have that Dominican flair to them, a Dominican spin, like Adriana's favorite, Maduros.
Yeah, I've been in like a couple barbecue spots in the US, and I've never seen Maduros, of course, and they are my favorite, so I love seeing them here.
Try it.
Of course, you never had to tell me twice. Oh, they're so good. You haven't tried Maduros, you have to try them because you're missing so much.
Try this mac and cheese with me.
I already tried it, and it's not just your regular mac and cheese. It's like something my Latin grandma will make for me if she made mac and cheese.
Took the words out of my mouth, minus the Latin grandma part. Like, this is taking like the boring American mac and cheese
Definitely.
and elevating it with those Dominican spices. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to move from here. You know, if you've eaten barbecue in Mexico before, okay? Maybe there's a little Texas influence there as well. Have you ever had anything quite like this before, though?
This is the first time that I see this combo with like Latin style, with barbecue style, and I think I'm more into this. Like, I was looking for my Latin side, and this is perfect for me.
I'm starting to notice this trend. The more videos we film, a lot of people say, we started our business during the pandemic because people had all this time to experiment with stuff, to try new things. For people who don't know, there's not just one type of American barbecue, what there's like Carolina style, Texas style, Kansas City style. This is something new. It's pretty neat. That's a queso frito.
Queso frito. Oh wow, very Latin.
Yeah? Of all the things we saw being prepped in front of us, nothing got my mouth watering like their ribs. It's gonna get messy, folks. So tender, it comes right off the bone. I keep thinking back to what he said about the molasses being this missing ingredient for this Dominican Texas fusion, and I'm really feeling it in that barbecue sauce here. I'm gonna take a bite. What do you think?
So tender, and I love the smoky flavor.
You eat at enough of these restaurants that are doing well, you start to see little similarities. Like owners who love their job and love talking to people.
Yeah.
You ever gonna look at barbecue the same way again?
I think this place has spoiled me really bad right now.
If you want to tell me in the comments, what other barbecue spots should I try in New York? I do want to try some good barbecue. Tell me where. I always had a certain expectation for barbecue. I know what to expect, and with this, expect the unexpected. I want to try something new. Bark, very interesting choice. It's worth the wait, trust me. Now, I know some of you may say, why did I not include one of the famous pizza spots in this video? Juliana's or Grimaldi's. The reason I didn't include them is because you need a whole pie there, and I wanted to open up the audience to different spots outside of the super famous ones here in DUMBO. But if you're curious, we did an entire video about Juliana's versus Grimaldi's a few years ago, if you want to see my impressions of them. On one of the most beautiful streets in one of the most beautiful neighborhoods is our stop for dessert at this little bakery.
I'm really excited to see what I'm gonna find behind those doors.
This is a bakery that you just gotta stop by. Now, I did speak to the owner, Hervé, and he said, I don't want to talk on camera. My food does the talking for me. I respect that. This whole neighborhood is just one big postcard, honestly.
I never thought I was gonna say like, oh, I'm here under the Brooklyn Bridge, drinking a coffee with a pastry, but here we are.
Here we are. Let's start with Madeleine's.
These are my mom's favorites. So if I like them, I'm gonna bring my mom here. I'm bringing my mom here.
See, more another customer. They're soft, little sweet. Yeah, Madeleine's are from northeastern France. Perfect with coffee. So these are big in Mexico too.
Really big.
So for the main event, I have read that their croissants are some of the best in all of New York City. And we have the chocolate, where the chocolate is just baked right inside. Wow. So flaky, so crumbly, and I bit right into that rich chocolate in the middle.
Yes, they're right. This is one of the best croissants I've had in New York City.
Yeah, the bakery's been around since the early 2000s, which is probably outdated a lot of other businesses here. When you look at how much it costs to rent in a neighborhood like Dumbo, and you saw how busy they were, you know they're doing something right. And it's more than just pastries. They also do have some sandwiches if you want a quick lunch inside. I think the play is take some stuff to go, walk around the waterfront, and she steals my food, see? The only thing missing right now that would have made this perfect would be the sun. The sun was out, that's it. One of the top Brooklyn experiences you could have, exploring Dumbo with some good coffee and some amazing croissants.
I think every time someone mentioned Dumbo, I was like, oh, it's go walk by the water, get a coffee, and that's it. But now I'm seeing that it's way more than that.
I think for the longest time, Dumbo was seen as this wasteland for food, and we're seeing more and more interesting places pop up where, it's not just a place you come to get a pie from Juliana's or Grimaldi's. There's so much more, and hopefully seeing all these spots gave me some good ideas. When most tourists think of chowing down in Brooklyn, they think pizza, they think Nathan's, but today we're gonna show you a food that only locals know about, the hot roast beef sandwich, and we're gonna be visiting 3 spots that have been in business for over 50 years. I hope you brought your appetites. We're about to eat.
I'm born and raised in the city. You haven't experienced Brooklyn unless you've tried these roast beef sandwiches, these hot roast beef sandwiches.
John's Deli, established in 1968. We're ordering the world famous Johnny roast beef. Some other sandwiches are named after Sopranos characters, Entourage characters, my type of place.
Can we get a 9-inch hero of the Johnny roast beef with with the gravy on the side?
Smells like Thanksgiving dinner back here. Oh, that's so good. Something kind of special when you see the birth of the sandwich you're about to eat, like the whole process. That was exciting. Bring your nice clothes for this.
This place is always packed. One of the most popular spots amongst the locals. You have to try this spot.
I don't know if there's any way you can eat this and not make a complete mess out of yourself. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Everything is just the way it should be.
What makes this sandwich so great is the gravy. Like, you can't go to any deli and get a sandwich with this kind of gravy.
Gravy's fantastic. That roast beef is so juicy, and you take that first bite into it, the bread is so soft because it's like swimming in the gravy.
The juice comes from the meat. That's where it gets the flavor from.
Just taking a bite out of Brooklyn every time we try this here. You talk to a lot of New Yorkers, and the famous sandwiches that come to mind, obviously pastrami corned beef, chopped cheese,
bacon, egg, and cheese.
Bacon, egg, and cheese, but how come the roast beef sandwich isn't on that list?
I honestly don't know the answer to that question. It always flies under the radar.
I like stuff that flies under the radar. Imagine this place was in the East Village, how much more expensive it would be, how much crazier it would be. I mean, we're 1 mile from Coney Island. A lot of people would go to the beach and stop here on the way to pick up some sandwiches first. You think that's a good idea?
I can tell you that there's no sandwich that comes anywhere close to this sandwich, close to the beach. Yeah, you have your Nathan's, you have some pizza shops, but definitely nothing like this.
You could take the D train, Hop off your 2 stops before Coney Island, grab some lunch, and continue on. That would be an amazing path.
And if you walk a few blocks that way, the L&B is over there too, and the N train is there too, which is 1 stop away from Coney Island.
L&B Spumoni Gardens, we covered it one time in my best Brooklyn pizza video. Good spot as well. There's a lot of like classics here in South Brooklyn that just do not get the attention that they deserve, I think.
Spots like these are extra special because over my 25 years in Brooklyn, a lot of these, I guess, family spots have closed, and the ones that have survived are truly special.
Look it off your thumb, come on, I know you want to. You're a monster, you're a gravy monster. Rollin' Roaster opened 1970, and from the exterior, it doesn't look like anything has changed since then. Wow. It's like the Brady Bunch.
If you come here on your birthday, you could spin the wheel and win as low as $5 up to $25.
Too bad it's not my birthday. Can we pretend? I don't know.
They check IDs.
They're gonna check IDs?
Yeah.
1 roast beef, well done. 2 roast beef and cheese, well done. This looks nice. This looks nice. All right, let's get one of these old school booths here. How do you feel when you come in here? What kind of memories does this bring back for you?
This place is so nostalgic, so many memories. Coming here on my birthdays to spin the wheel. Coming here late nights, this place is probably the only place that's open at like 3 a.m. Seeing the shenanigans that happen here. If you were a cool high school kid where you wanted to hang out, probably the only place you were allowed to hang out at that time.
This is like the Boardwalk lemonade, like the super, super sweet, sugary version.
I don't like comparing places, but this does remind me of the one I get from Nathan's. They have a saying here, you can put cheese on anything you please.
And I decided to put some of the Cheese Whiz on it. I know you said it's not really your style. I mean, yeah, this is not the fresh mozzarella from John's Deli. This is the fast food version of it. I would say if you were drunk, this would be a pretty good choice to, I don't know, maybe try to prevent that hangover the next day. Definitely a different experience than John's. I'm surprised how much I like this bread. The Cheese Whiz, it's a really strong flavor. Kind of like overpowers the roast beef a little bit, but I am a fan of Philly cheesesteak like that. So for me, I like it, but I could see how it wouldn't be for everybody. How's yours?
Mine's great. I was also about to comment on the bread. The bread is actually really good. It is a little different from the Hero bread, but it's still amazing. And yeah, without the cheese, you really do taste the beef. The gravy is amazing here too.
I actually read that apparently there was an Arby's across the street from here at one point in time, and it closed down. No shock.
Arby's cannot compete with this.
No. Brennan and Carr, established 1938. This is the oldest spot on the video, and it kind of looks like you're eating inside of some cottage upstate. This feels like you could take a date here. This gives me that vibe. It's like we're going to a nice steakhouse.
So what we're gonna do is dip it a little, shake it out, put it back on the plate, take the roll. Gotta just dip the meat only, some gravy on the side. Now we got the double dip. Just dip the bottom of the roll a little quick. Dip, double dip, dip the meat. Don't rinse it out, leave it on top. Take the roll, dip it, and then you pour just a little bit of gravy on it to make it a double dip. For the KFJ style, which is it comes on two plates, as you can see. We dip the roll again, put it on the plate, dip the meat, go right on. Now you can see a lot of gravy sitting on the plate. On top. Now we got a KFJ style. A little more gravy. Okay, this is the double dip.
Thank you.
Dangle.
Thank you.
I love everything about this place so far. I like the waiters are really friendly and they're so knowledgeable about the food and the way they're dressed. It's like we're having a nice steak dinner, but instead we're about to feast on hot roast beef sandwiches. This is dripping right now. This is something. I have like a pool of Probably the most delicious broth on earth right now here. Just melts in your mouth, wow. The bread is so moist and soaked, and you take that bite and you get all of that freshness and the juiciness. This is a once in a generation kind of place. The menu here really doesn't change that often, and this is just a classic spot to come to if you're in South Brooklyn.
A lot of regular customers that come back for me. I pretty much know their orders. I don't even have to ask what they're gonna have. If they decide they're gonna change it up on me, I tell them I'm not gonna serve them anymore.
That's how extreme this is. It's a JFK.
Knife and KFJ.
KFJ. I said JFK. But it's KMJ. But it's KFJ. This is a knife and fork job. Can't pick this up. That's how moisty it is. Wanna try it? Here we go. There's barely any bread in it. You said that melt in your mouth? Like this literally melts in your mouth. It's soft, it's wet. What's not to love?
I can't believe it took me 10 years living in New York City to finally try some of these hot roast beef sandwiches, but it was worth the wait. Today we're eating our way through Brooklyn's Chinatown, which may be New York's best kept food secret. From street eats to a dim sum feast, hope you brought your appetites. And we'll be joined by Ben and Ming from the Bing Buzz. For those who don't know about Brooklyn's Chinatown, this is in Sunset Park, and we could call it more under the radar.
Yeah, definitely. And this started as back as the 80s. Believe it or not, this was a Norwegian neighborhood before the Chinese moved in. 8th Avenue, the number 8 is significant because it means prosperous. And as you can see, the Chinese population definitely found success on 8th Avenue.
How is this different than the Manhattan and the Queens version?
It's definitely a lot of local Chinese people that just come out to shop, buy stuff, eat. You don't get a lot of tourists that come compared to Chinatown and Flushing.
Ming, we're starting at Bamboo Garden, and dim sum on a weekend is a must-do experience, right?
It is. Chinese people love dim sum, and I'm so excited for dim sum today.
Let's check the spot out. I have to admit, I have not done a dim sum like this, where you have the rolling carts. These are pretty tough to find in New York these days, right?
It's getting rarer and rarer because labor is just so expensive.
For anyone who's not familiar with this kind of experience, could you explain it?
Iconic experience, and dim sum is when the old ladies like come and push the carts to you, and you get to see the dishes. I want that one, that one, that one, and then they stamp like the size of the dish you order. So small, medium, large, and special. And then the prices differ depending on what you order.
You're really just ordering with your eyes.
Full game of bingo.
It's really fun. I hope it doesn't disappear, but it is getting rarer. So whenever someone pours tea for you, you do the double finger tap to say thank you. So that, yeah, so.
All right, I'm learning a little today.
The young person pours for the old person.
We've got 4 grandmas trying to feed us at once.
Overwhelmed, John?
I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little intimidated right now. Don't feel intimidated, okay? Just have the cameras rolling, so there's a lot of attention on us right now. Now, normally on the dim sum experience, you pick and choose and you get a couple of plates here, a couple of plates there.
When we go with our families, this is very normal,
Okay.
but the thing that's different is that they don't all come to you all at once.
Lately, you have to like chase them down. It's like hard to get them now.
What do we start with? I don't even know where to begin here.
Definitely, we always start with the thing that's steaming. Shumai, the hagao, the paiguat.
We'll start with the shumai, and this is pretty much just grab and go, enjoy everything at once, right?
I like it a little spicy, don't mind me.
Yeah, look at this sauce spread in front of us. It's like we're ready for battle today.
There's shumai, there's shrimp, there's pork, and mushrooms wrapped around a little wonton.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Chinese culture, especially on weekends, seafood's a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go to spots in Chinatown that specialize in rice rolls and dumplings, but here you get to sample a little bit of everything. So if you could only come to one spot in the video, it might make the most sense just to come here for a big feast.
Mm-hmm. But this is not all day, so make sure to come before 2 p.m. to be safe. This is the ha churn, which is shrimp rice roll. This is my favorite dish of all of dim sum.
Very silky. Ben, did you live here at some point?
Bensonhurst.
So you live pretty close. Do you think this area has expanded a lot since you were a kid?
Oh yeah. So the 8th Ave used to be just this area, and now it's like 3 neighborhoods. You have like parts of Sheepshead Bay, parts of Bensonhurst. So like definitely expanded a lot. This is still like the mecca of the Chinese neighborhood of Brooklyn.
So far we went after the shrimp and it's all been delicious, but what do you think we should target next?
More shrimp, just kidding. But there's a lot of shrimp and pork, 2 main ingredients in dim sum.
Go for the ribs.
Sure,
Ribs.
the ribs.
Here we go. It's nice and tender.
These are known to be very saucy and has a lot of black bean.
Could a vegetarian enjoy this?
There's vegetarian
Dim
stuff.
sum, yeah.
I think it's just more fun if you eat meat. Just the
Stuffed jalapeno.
stuffed jalapeno.
It's not our usual at a dim sum, but it's
Okay.
fun to have.
No, I get it with my family.
Oh.
Yeah, every family is like different. Like when I go with my mom, we always get the durian pastry, and these two, I don't think they like durian.
All right, let's try this. Man, one bite. I was concerned how hot the jalapeno was gonna be, but not hot.
Not too hot. They take the seeds out.
What would dim sum be like known for in like a Chinese family? Is it a special occasion, or is it every weekend?
It's not every weekend, but there's some families that's definitely every weekend. Depends on timing and also like finances, I guess.
Now you two just spent a couple of weeks in Asia, and you said the last time you had dim sum was in Hong Kong. How would you compare that to New York?
New York, dim sum is actually really authentic because a lot of people immigrate here. Hong Kong, I think just the space is tighter in general. Tables are smaller, a lot more people. They love dim sum there too. The food is just as good.
This restaurant is gigantic by New York standards, 20 feet between tables.
Yeah, if you stick around for a few more hours, it'll be probably like a whole wedding. And like,
Yeah?
Yeah.
They like to do weddings on weekdays.
I mean, that is kind of like the dim sum vibe, because you come in casual, but you're basically eating in an elegant environment.
Whole palace.
We are eating egg tarts later on in this video, Portuguese style. These are Hong Kong style.
The Hong Kong style egg tart uses full egg, while the Portuguese egg tart is only egg yolk. This is more of a thicker, denser crust, while the Portuguese one is more of a puff pastry. I went to Hong Kong. This is legit the size too. It's so cute.
You're definitely right. It tastes less like a dessert, maybe more like a breakfast.
This is exactly what people like to eat for breakfast. This Hong Kong style tea, dynamic duo. Durian, crispy puff pastry inside. Oh, so much durian. I love it.
Try to enjoy it, John.
Every time people warn me about stuff, I'm like, oh no. All right, let's do it. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
It's a monster of a fruit, man. Wait till you see what it actually looks like.
I have to say, this is about as bustling as Flushing, as bustling as Manhattan's Chinatown. Do you see more similarities here or differences?
I don't want to call it lawlessness, but it's a lot more chaotic. A lot more street vendors, a lot of Brooklyn attitude, I would say.
It's a good word. What do you think makes this Chinatown like special versus the other ones?
Here you speak Cantonese or Mandarin. Here 99% of the people are Asian, Russian, all mixed together. The restaurant food is more option. Here only like one street. So I have another job. And today is Sunday, kind of busy. I'm out to help him.
I was tempted to buy those Crocs, you know. Hardworking locals making money here. I respect that a lot.
We learned that a lot of the street vendors actually have two jobs. Corporate job in the day and then weekends vendor.
Ming, is it really a trip to any Chinatown if you don't stop for some bubble tea?
Heck no, we need bubble tea, especially on a hot day like today.
Chunyang is the answer.
Yes, I love Chunyang because they make fresh fruit tea. So delicious.
Can I do a large passion fruit green tea?
The less sugar you put, the more sour it's gonna be because we use the real passion fruit tea.
Regular. It's regular, yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
When you get bubble tea, remember to shake it up because there's a sugar, there's a boba inside, especially when you have brown sugar boba. I usually flip it upside down and then shake, yeah. Keep shaking until it's all uniform. Very important to shake it, especially when you have like a milky base.
I feel like I say this to you guys every time we have boba, but this has gone so mainstream. You see this in like every neighborhood of New York, for great reasons, of course. Like every boba spot I ever walk by is always packed.
And the prices just keep going higher and higher.
But they're also good.
Yeah. I'll keep paying for this. One of the most refreshing drinks you can get. Ming, I'm always excited when I see a line basically out the door to a bakery.
This spot is one of my favorite spots to get Portuguese egg tarts. Some of the best here.
I was last here 4 years ago. I want to see if anything's changed.
Let's go. Oh, well, this spot is actually like extra big, or a little bit bigger than the other spots I've been to.
Yeah, you can see they know they're gonna sell out, or they're just prepared for us.
The turnover rate is really high, so it's like super fresh, super steamy, so good. Packaging is a lot nicer than the other bakeries I've been to.
I was gonna say, actually, their steamed buns are almost sold out. So they just sold out, and we're gonna get a completely fresh batch in like 5 minutes.
Exciting! It comes out really quick, 5 to 6 minutes. Guys, this box is baked to perfection, fresh, hot. You could put your hands on here. It's like a hand warmer.
I think I would pay $10.50 just for this box and packaging alone, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's so nice.
No.
Like, bring us to a party.
If I'm paying $10.50, I better have the egg tart. Look at the jiggle.
Are you shaking that?
I'm shaking it. It's so jiggly.
You know, I thought Ming was playing around, but they actually are jiggling. It's like Jell-O. You know what impresses me the most about this? That it's $1.75. I filmed here almost 4 years ago, and it was only $1.50. So we got a 25-cent increase in 4 years. If this spot was in Manhattan, no way it would be this cheap, and no way they wouldn't have a super, super long line.
No way. All the Singfa bakery lovers will rejoice. If it goes to Manhattan, the lines will be crazy.
It's like you're eating like a well-baked cake. Best way for me to describe it. It's so gooey, so tasty.
So it's slightly crispy and buttery, and the inside is like dense, soft, creamy, silky, so delicious.
We talked about the differences between the Portuguese and the Hong Kong style, and this just being egg yolk, I think I prefer that.
It's super eggy, but you can see that it's not gonna fall apart on you because of this crust right here.
Excellent point.
Excellent.
An excellent point. With like seriously, how gooey this is and how it's not all falling out. Look, it was crazy. They had like 25, 30 in front of us. They were gone in 2 minutes.
I was like, John, don't worry, they're not gonna sell out. And then we got there, we're like, wait. But then they're like, oh, only 5-minute wait. I'm like, oh, nice.
Because they listen to their customers. They make a lot. 8th Ave feels a little more secluded compared to Flushing or Manhattan, Chinatown. So I think that's also a reason why the prices are lower too. You don't attract a lot of tourists, outsiders. It's really for the locals.
This has popped up a lot on social though.
That's true.
I wouldn't say it's completely unknown, but to your average person, it's definitely not in the conversation.
Yeah. Sooner or later. I feel like we'll be here, and also you have Alberts and Queens. It's like eventually every place will be discovered. It's just a matter of time.
Normally when you think of pastries, you think you can just down them in a bite or two. This thing's massive and it's heavy too.
Yeah. I could probably down 2 of those egg tarts from the dim sum spot.
Yeah.
This I can't.
I love egg tarts, so I can down 2 of these, no problem.
Sinfa is worth the trip to 8th Ave alone. Just get a box of those egg tarts, take them home. Your significant other will thank you for it.
If you want to be the coolest person to a party, bring a box of egg tarts from Singfa.
Ben, you once told me that the best dumpling spots have very simple names, and I think they qualify.
Great taste, you're 100% right. You got Super Taste in Chinatown, you got Taste Good in Elmhurst, they're all dumpling spots.
Yes.
And this qualifies. Hi, 你好，一份那个8个饺子，3块钱。
Thank you. These were ready to go. Like you could see that they sell so many of these that he just had the box.
8 dumplings for $3.
One of the best deals in the city.
He's scared right now.
Jalapeno scared me. That didn't scare me. I mean, I think after you've had so many fried dumplings, they start to look the same, but this looks a little bigger than normal.
It might be great tasting.
It might be great tasting. All right, we've got the sriracha, we've got the soy sauce. Let's see how these bad boys taste.
Ooh, spicy.
Oh, definitely has more of a kick than normal, but decent amount of pork inside, actually.
Yeah.
More than average, I would say.
I think the sauce definitely helped. Generous amount of pork and chives. Very doughy. You will get filled up with just the dough alone.
Value proposition is excellent. Is it the best dumpling of your life? I don't know. It does the job for me.
If I could feed myself for under $5, it's a win.
Yeah.
The thing with dumplings and these kind of spots is that you could customize the amount of soy sauce you put in, the spice level. So it's like you can have fun with it.
A little vinegary. Dumplings should always be in the 30-something cents. If they go to 40 cents, I'll be a little sad, but I'll be full from this, for sure.
Ming, I think it's important for people to know that in any Chinatown in the city, it's not just about Chinese food. You have a lot of great culinary stuff from all over the world.
Yes, just like this Vietnamese spot that we're going to next, Ba Xuan. They sell mung bean cakes here too. Number 1.
Thank you.
In this banh mi, we got a number 1. This is cilantro, pickled vegetables, so like the carrots, the daikon, the pate, all the Vietnamese cold cuts. They got a sauce in here that kind of tastes like ketchup, and cucumbers, peppers as well.
I'm never gonna say no to a good banh mi. I actually filmed here about 4 years ago. If my longtime viewers recall, Action Kid and I went to Sunset Park to eat this, where Action Kid spilled his entire Vietnamese coffee all over the park. That's what I'll always remember about this place. That, and it was an amazing banh mi. Maybe one of the best I've ever had, actually. A little under 4 years ago, it was $5. What is it now?
It is $8. A month ago we came here, $7.50. So they're kind of, it's going up consistently.
Pretty steady with what's going on in New York. It's not just them, it's inflation in general. It's rock.
Oh, sorry. I'm like,
Oh. That is one balanced bite, I'm telling you. All the layers and textures just work so well together with this sandwich. Starting from the top, starting from the French baguette.
I don't know exactly, but it's like a special mayo type of sauce.
Even though the price has gone up, quality has stayed the same.
One of the best in Brooklyn.
It's even better when the wife's feeding you, huh?
Baguette is like really crunchy. $8 is expensive, but it's still on the cheaper end. I'm still waiting for the days that Subway become $5.
That's like the dollar menu coming back to McDonald's.
One
I think you just have to accept it.
Extra saucy just to bring the taste out, but these are very natural. Natural ingredients, super colorful, full of great taste, and it's naturally sweet.
Just hanging out with you guys at all these spots on 8th Ave. I don't live that far from here. I'm kind of ashamed that I go to the Manhattan Chinatown a lot more. There's so many quality spots here.
At one point, I actually grew up in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Not too far from here, but it's rare for me to come here because I was in high school. Now that I'm older, I could drive, I love coming here.
You're enjoying the food adventures that I'm having with Ben and Ming. Adventures like this. Subscribe to their channel if you want to see them eating their way across New York and around the world. They have some great content, trust me. Ben, we started with something super formal, dim sum. And now we're eating street food on sticks, skewers.
It doesn't get better than that. Perfect ending. 拿2个羊，然后2个牛肉。好的。How spicy you want it?
Medium. There's 2 lamb and 2 beef. We don't know what we're gonna get.
Oh, we got
I don't know. I think it's beef.
I'll stick with a lamb. This is like s'mores over a fireplace. Is there a more elegant way to eat in New York City than sitting on a red plastic stool? I think not.
I think not. I'm so full, John, but I'm so excited for this.
We've got enough room for meat on a stick. All right, beef, lamb, lamb. Let's try these.
Excited.
Cumin gives us a real nice kick.
The spices in Chinese skewer carts, it's unlike any others.
I've only done this with you one other time in Flushing on a video. And there we were standing on top of a parking garage.
Oh yeah.
And this is even more fun. There's so much to all of New York's Chinatowns, and like, you could spend years exploring and not even scratch the surface. It's crazy.
So true. Come out to Elmhurst with us next time. They'll whip out a whole table too.
Yeah?
Yeah. We have a night of skewers and beer.
That sounds perfect. Sign me up for that. There's great Chinese street food out there.
Yeah.
I think the stereotype is like it's like a noodle shop, dumpling shop, a restaurant, dim sum, but no, you can't sleep on the street food either.
Right. The lamb is really lean and the beef is extra fatty. If you like that fatty street food taste, go for the beef.
We were not planning on covering 369 barbecue. This is a little hidden gem.
And right now we're early. Give it another 30 minutes. This street will be filled with street carts. It's going to be a little 8th Ave night market of its own.
We were full, but I think I could easily do 2 or 3 more of these.
Yeah.
Easily, you know?
I'm like, yum. Did you get mild?
Medium.
Oh.
I'm surprised you handled it.
Hanging out with these guys for so long. My spice tolerance has gone up a lot.
Lamb is good.
Making these food videos, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
A lot. They asked us how hot we wanted it. Would you say this is actually one of the most affordable meat skewer carts you've seen?
I would think so. I think $2 is a going rate right now for 2024. So these are 25 cents cheaper.
2020 rates.
2020 rates.
If you think about the value of this, $1.75 for a skewer, this is pure protein. Protein is usually expensive.
Yeah. And honestly, 8th Ave is a great place for food. Like one avenue has it all.
Make it really easy. Just take the R train right there, 8th Ave station. Start your adventure. Welcome to episode 2 of our 2-part Brighton Beach, Brooklyn series. Our local guides will show us where to get some mouth-watering food at a local market, a delicious snack at a non-Soviet establishment, and even take us inside a supermarket that looks like a movie theater. We may even have a shot of vodka. If this sounds appealing, keep watching. All right, we're back for part 2 in Brighton Beach. Got Lenny and John, my amazing local guides here. And to start video 2, we're walking through an area that's a bit different than where we were for the first part, right?
Yeah, this place has a lot of influence from all the different stands, as me and John like to call them, the Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan, all these different types of stands. And this is on the intersection of Coney Island Avenue and Brighton Beach. So that's probably why we're starting to see a mix of different cultures.
All right, guys, let's check out stop number 1.
They actually had another store here before, and since I was away at school, they've made significant changes.
This is one of the biggest buffets I have ever seen in New York City. I mean, this is Las Vegas level.
They have like beef tongue right next to tuna salad.
Okay.
Like, that's pretty cool.
You have to see this line behind me. There's no YouTube promotion, no TikTok. This is just locals knowing where to go.
Some carrots and raisins. So this is plov. It's the national dish of Uzbekistan. Here they used two different types of carrots, yellow and orange. There are, I believe, some raisins or craisins. Not sure.
Raisins?
Yeah, dried cranberries. Okay. It's cooked for a long time. The meat is slow cooked. It looks very tender, as you can see.
I think we literally have every single ingredient in one bite. Uzbeki, plov. I've had this before. I was most excited to try this again. I love lamb. Here we go.
Keep in mind how tender this meat is.
Let's try this. Oh, wow.
Flavorful.
Just melts in your mouth. So much flavor. I just want more of that meat, guys.
I like the sweet hints that the raisins or craisins give when you're eating the rice.
When you go to a supermarket like that and you see a line that takes you 20-30 minutes to get served, I think generally speaking that's a pretty good sign that you're gonna get food like this.
Also, I haven't seen in any of the Brighton supermarkets or any Russian supermarket I've been to where someone is serving the food to you. It's always grab and go, like buffet style.
You know, in my experience, I've seen some of the best food in New York City can be found in little ethnic supermarkets like this. I'm telling you, really true.
Best thing you can do, apart from visiting a Russian supermarket, is find yourself an older Uzbek lady friend, and she'll make you the best plov you've ever had in your life.
Are they waiting for us? Are any around here somewhere? Even older Uzbeki ladies?
I don't know. I've been searching my whole life. I can't seem to find one.
By the way, I want to say special thank you to the members of my Patreon. Now, none of these local businesses knew that we were coming, so your support helps me support these businesses and pay for all the food you saw in this video. Thanks a lot, guys.
Something that I've seen in almost every Russian household. These slippers are the key to like any Russian household. I feel like I've seen them every house I've stepped in, and anytime I go to any house that's not a Russian household, they don't have any slippers. They walk around barefoot or in shoes, and you get yelled at and like almost hit if you walk around barefoot in a Russian house.
It's very common that you'll be offered a pair of slippers when you're a guest at someone's house, and
they'll probably be those.
Men or women, you will be getting these.
For the second stop in this video, we're gonna show you that Brighton Beach is not just Russian, Ukrainian, former Soviet country food. We're gonna do something a little different.
Maybe like 200 yards away from Brighton Beach Avenue, we're still in Brighton, but there is a heavy Mexican, Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi influence over here, and we are going to probably try some samosas or some Middle Eastern sweets.
Get dipping in there. I don't know what kind of sauce that is. I have no idea.
It's like a yogurt sauce.
Good.
It is like a yogurt
like
sauce.
Tangy and a little spicy or like minty.
No, this is spicy.
Like
That's
minty and yeah.
These are good.
I didn't expect to eat a samosa on this video, but it's good to show you that there's more to Brighton Beach than just Russian Soviet stuff. You know, when she told me it was $3,
I thought she meant per samosa. $1 per samosa. Excellent. And a little spicy, a little tangy with that yogurt sauce. I want to segue for a moment. I have two guys here who have similar backgrounds to me. Now, we have parents that were born in the former Soviet Union, and they immigrated to Brooklyn originally. Mine in the 1970s, you guys in the 90s. Tell me what it was like growing up as a first-generation son of former Soviet immigrants.
I would like to start off by saying the rumors are true, that these parents value education more than anything, and they are very strict when it comes to education.
Yeah, so as far as getting to know people and, you know, the sense of community, living in Brighton Beach and living in New York, even though we're first generation and we, you know, a majority of our friends and family is Russian, the fact that we are in this like cultural hub and the fact that we can go from Brighton Beach to Coney Island Avenue, or for example, you know, from a Russian restaurant to a Bangladeshi or Pakistani or Indian spot. Like, these are the types of connections that I value a lot, and a lot of my friends and a lot of my friendships have come from places outside of just being first generation.
My personal story is I grew up in Fairlawn, New Jersey, and for anyone who knows the Russian community, it is the biggest Russian community, I still believe, in New Jersey. A lot of Russians moved from Brighton Beach to Fairlawn, so for me, walking into these Russian stores, hanging out with Russian people, it is nothing new for me. For our next stop, I actually thought we were about to walk into a movie theater.
So this is Netcost Market, formerly known as Millennium Theater. So before it was a supermarket, there were actually plenty of shows and famous Russian artists coming in and performing for the Russian community here in Brighton Beach.
Yeah, growing up, like you said, it was Millennium Theater. If you were a younger kid and you know what the Christmas Spectacular is in Radio City, this is Brighton Beach's center of Radio City. You would have the Christmas Spectaculars, the New Year's Spectaculars. This is where you would want to take your kid during the holidays. Russians love their cold cuts.
There's a million different kinds of cured and smoked meat. Here's like all the different frozen dumplings that they sell, and people can just make at home.
Okay.
So every family usually has, if you look inside, there's like every family usually has some form of this in their freezer.
Yeah. When Corona was starting up, I made sure I had a bunch of these in my freezer.
Good idea. Guys, my grandma used to have these. Tell me about this.
So this is the famous non-cookie cookie box. It's always a trap. So if you're a younger kid watching this and you find one of these in like a cupboard or shelf, don't fall for it. This will likely have sewing equipment or any other random thing apart from cookies. It will never have cookies.
So we just got some drinks, non-alcoholic, from the first supermarket. Now we're going to the Brighton Bazaar to get some sweets, and we're gonna eat it and drink it.
Yes. Можно несколько разных пару попробовать? Okay, so this one's with the
condensed milk.
Yeah, okay, можно одну эту и может.
For the next food tasting, we are sitting in a random park, and we're gonna try what looks to me like Russian ice cream. But what is it really?
So we got 3 different kinds of Russian cheesecake desserts. So what we call them in Russian is syrok, which is like little cheeses. And so for kids and toddlers, you know, this is the type of dessert that you'd expect to see them eating at any Russian household. And so this is what I would look forward to after, you know, finishing all my chicken nuggets or whatever. Like,
okay.
So yeah, and so we got caramel. I think this is just a
condensed milk.
It's flavored with sweetened condensed milk.
Yeah.
These two, and this one is a strawberry flavored cheesecake bar.
Okay. Chocolate glazed cheesecake bar sounds interesting. It's very rich. Growing up with parents from Ukraine, my mom would always bring stuff like this. I don't know if it was exactly this, but Russian candy from the Russian stores. So for me, Lenny said it brought back his childhood memories. It totally brings back my childhood memories as well.
Yeah, so let's give it a shot. Wow.
Wow.
It's been a while since I've had this, and it's like explosion of rich richness and flavor. It's impossible to chew. Like it's very, it takes a while to get everything together.
This has also been a long time coming for me.
Yeah.
I always loved coming home, seeing these inside the cheese tray in our fridge. Yeah, this brings me back home.
Guys, we got one more surprise for you before we call it a video. Who's in the mood for a shot of vodka?
How are we going to celebrate the end of the 2-video series?
We're gonna try some Russian sodas, compot, and with a nice shot of vodka.
Here be Barr.
Here be Barr.
Here be Barr. Here be
channel.
Russian Barr.
So we're gonna do a shot and then we're gonna down it with some
compot.
Compot.
This is boiled fruits with sugar.
Okay, and the only reason Lenny's not doing this is he's training for the Olympics. That is the only way you're getting out of doing a shot on this channel for the record. So, ready?
Zdrowie. This is the #1 COVID vaccine.
I could have handled it without a chaser, but that was pretty strong. Maybe it's because I'm married, I don't drink much anymore, and I'm a boring human being, but it's good to get back to a shot of vodka.
We're gonna have the tarhun. Tarhun definitely has some bubbles, a lot more bubbles than what we saw in the kvass. And this is a drink made from tarragon. It's a Georgian drink, but also Russians love it as well.
Non-alcoholic, not everything here is alcohol.
It's a soda. It's a soda, so a nice little pour, a little green tinge.
How's like the stuff you rinse with at the dentist after you get a cleaning, maybe? It's really minty. Like, I don't know if I like that. I think it's a little, it tastes a little too much like medicine for me, not to bash anyone that likes it, but.
Thank you for having us. Come find us in Brighton Beach.
Yeah, so John mentioned I'm training for the Olympics here. This is my stuffed animal mascot. We're here trying to grow wrestling for the youth, and we've done a couple of charity fundraisers, and we're looking to continually expand, maybe have a YouTube channel in the future. So you can check us out on Instagram at Sebi the Sloth and SebiTheSloth.com.
All right, we've got Luis with me. He's going to be joining me for this adventure. And Cuts and Slices, have you heard the hype here?
Yeah, man, I've heard they're doing some crazy things with pizza. They got some really out-of-the-box toppings. I'm excited to check it out.
Let's do it.
In 2018, we started with just this right here. This was the entire location of Cuts and Slices. Coming into this industry, we knew that it really wasn't
for us.
For us, you know what I'm saying? We see that, you know, who runs the industry, the pizza industry, but we know that we love pizza and we wanted to put a spin on pizza.
You used to walk in here, there was a counter right here. You would walk in, this was the entire shop. But this was it. You would walk in, take your order and step out.
Originally I told him, you know, if you're gonna do it, it needs to be something that's
Completely
unique.
different, unique.
Because who's gonna come to a black man's pizza shop? You know, that's not traditionally how pizza is made, you know?
We started thinking out the box and thinking of things that we love to eat and putting those toppings on pizza. We pretty much just started releasing pies, how sneakers were being released at the time, because that was my background, my other business before Cuts and Slices. I had a sneaker business. I was like, you know what? Let's start doing like limited drops. So we're doing like pies only. I think the first limited pie that we did, we numbered the pie. We did 25 pies and we sold out that day. And when that person bought that last pie, it was a line of people behind him trying to buy the slices.
From him.
From him. Yeah. That's when I knew we really had something. That's when I knew it was something special. So that's why I'm like, you know what? This might really set us apart from other pizzerias. Specialty pizzas, gourmet, we're using quality ingredients, the best of the best. Like we have a shrimp and lobster black truffle Alfredo slice. We do it fried and we do it sauteed. That slice gets fresh Parmesan. We get imported fresh truffles weekly, flown in, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
big thing. People are like, why am I
people
paying
like,
this
why
much
am I
for
paying
a
$18
slice?
for a slice? Because it's quality ingredients that's
ingredients.
going on that slice. We have the cheese slice for you
Yeah.
for $3.50,
Yeah.
you know, like everybody else. And our slice is better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, Luis, what are you gravitating towards? I mean, we have so many crazy choices here. I don't even know where to begin. Like my taste buds right now, I'm salivating.
Man, I'm looking at all the oxtails at the bottom. They also have jerk chicken, which looks delicious.
I'm moving this way towards like the lobster and shrimp black truffle Alfredo. Oof.
curry chicken, teriyaki oxtail, brown stew oxtail, curry oxtail, sweet chili oxtail, and you got both of the shrimp and lobsters here.
That just looks expensive.
So when people ask us like, why is this slice $18? Like, bro, shrimp, lobster, fresh truffle, fresh Parmesan.
So if you want to know what all of this costs, take to go, 101.42. Take credit card, right? Okay.
Wow, man. All the different colors. I've never had a pizza like this before.
Maybe seen shrimp before, but like some of this stuff, oxtail, first time.
These are shoes that we designed. Cuts and slices for my Adidas. Shout out to Adidas, gave us a chance to design these and represent New York.
Can you envision how popular your shop would become like on the internet when you started?
Definitely not.
No way.
We dreamt of how we expected it to be maybe 10 years down the line. Because, you know, you think every time in this industry, when you talk to people and you speak to people, they've been doing pizza for 30, 40 years, and they never have a line, but they're known.
Cuts and Slices has celeb fans like Sean Kingston, rapper Lil Yachty, celebrity chef Sonny Anderson, and Questlove.
In each of these boxes is $100 worth of pizza. And I gotta tell you, I'm excited.
Man, these things are heavy.
Oh yeah. Randy wanted us to remind everyone that the lines aren't as bad as they used to be even a year ago, and they opened a second location in Queens if it's closer to you. We're gonna take our first bite. We saw all this prep. I got the lobster and fried shrimp Alfredo with black truffle on top, 20 bucks, the most expensive slice on the menu.
And I have the sweet chili oxtail. This is their most popular slice on the menu.
You can't even fold this like a New York slice.
No,
These are built so sturdy. I'm shocked everything is like holding together here.
Yeah, this is definitely does not pass the flop test.
All right, let's give this a go. You know, my first bite, I didn't even get any lobster or any fried shrimp. I just got the black truffle Alfredo sauce, and I'm already in love with this. And I haven't even gotten to the expensive stuff yet. What about you?
Dude, this is super flavorful. It's not really spicy, but there's a lot of flavor going on here.
I think I just got my first bite of some of the lobster. Man, this is not something that I normally would expect on a pizza, but I gotta tell you, it's impressing me. Now I need some of this fried shrimp. I mean, look at the Alfredo hanging on this. This is like going to a gourmet restaurant and just putting it all on your pizza.
So I got a question for you. Is it worth 20 bucks?
The way they do it, yes. Are you gonna come here every day for lunch? No. Are you gonna make a special trip here to support a really cool local business? Hell yes.
I mean, I can see why it's popular.
You know, Luis, as we dig more into this, you're someone that for a living shows a lot of viral spots on TikTok and Instagram. Do you feel like that's where the city's going right now? You gotta do something extreme to get attention?
I think so, man. As sad as it sounds, people are really just not as excited anymore to go out and have dinner. They're really looking to try new things, whether that's a combination of different cuisines or an experience where you can go and you can have a show and dinner at the same time. Then that's kind of where things are going, because people are just not looking to go and have a simple meal anymore.
You know what this reminds me of a lot? Like good family vibes? That's Deli in Queens.
Yeah.
What they were doing with like the oxtail, mac and cheese, and that went really viral, and that was combining a few, you know, different elements into one.
So they're in the process of expanding.
Yeah.
But they're opening locations in neighborhoods where they see themselves in, which is amazing. So they're bringing this combination of these two different cuisines into neighborhoods where they know there's gonna be a demand for their products.
Exactly. And I like the energy in there. It felt like a family experience. Even just the customers were so chill, man. They were so excited for what we were doing. So both of us were eyeing the chicken and waffle.
She said they drizzle it with syrup.
You do see some of the syrup on top. You look closely enough.
This is the shot where you feed me and I feed you?
No, you wish. you wish.
This one passes the flop test.
This one you can fold a little bit. You know, people do dollar pizza for breakfast. Can we do chicken and waffle pizza for breakfast? It's not like any pizza that I'm used to, the flavors here. Just like a breakfast in my mouth right now.
I taste the maple syrup more than anything.
No.
I'm not mad at it though.
No, definitely not upset with it. You know, I wonder What would like old school Italians think of this? Because you got to be open-minded to eat this type of pizza.
They would have a heart attack.
I think some would be curious though. And there's so many things going on with the New York pizza game right now. Like whatever you're looking for, you can find. If you want wild, unique slices, cuts and slices here. But there's so many pizzerias right now that are doing like 3-day fermentation with the dough, importing pepperoni from Italy. You can go so many different directions. I don't think the New York pizza game has ever been as high as it is right now.
Dude, you're right about that, because now you also have Pizza X in Astoria, Queens, and they're doing the crazy Mexican pizzas.
Yep.
With the mole too, on a pizza, mole on a pizza.
You can put your culture on a pizza. Whatever your background is, you can turn it into a pizza now. We've seen sandwiches, but you're right. Now the evolution is in the pizza side.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
If you think about it, both of these slices have a little bit of his culture in them.
I got the curry oxtail, and I believe Randy said that his background was Trinidadian. So we got so many different types of slices here. And the jerk chicken. You know what impressed us a lot when they were making it? How evenly they spread the ingredients. Like how much oxtail we got on this. Because if you're gonna get a slice and you're spending this kind of money, like you better get your money's worth, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Cheers, guys. I like this one. I didn't realize this, but it has bell peppers.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of bell peppers. I'm gonna have to say this one's probably my favorite slice that I've had today.
You know, I've not had a lot of oxtail before. I think Dat's Deli might be the last time I've had it. But this is quality right here. So much of it. Packs a strong punch too, strong flavor. Really, really tasty. It's amazing what you can do with pizza, man. Oxtail, really getting popular with the mainstream right now.
Right.
Cuts and Slice is definitely one of the world's most unique pizza spots. You think it lives up to the hype?
In my opinion, it does. Also, just speaking with the owners and hearing a little bit about their story and how they got started. It's something that they do with love. I mean, it's not gonna be your cheapest slice that you're gonna find in New York, but the quality is gonna be there. So you're gonna have very consistent, high quality slice whenever you come here.
Special occasion slice, it's a destination. You know, Randy talked about people would hang out in their cars, like a party on the street, eating cuts and slices. That's the vibe they're going for. And I think they hit the nail on the head. You know, is this gonna be something that your pizza purist is gonna love? Maybe not, but if you're adventurous, you owe it to yourself to try them for sure.
Today we're going on a cheap eats food crawl in downtown Brooklyn. We're gonna try everything from Middle Eastern to Chinese, fried chicken, and more. Hope you brought your appetites.
This, my friend, is like literally one-stop eating. I could probably take this entire menu down if I really tried to.
What would you guys like on that?
I'm gonna go ketchup mustard.
Let's do mustard.
Just $5.
Some have called this the greatest papaya of Brooklyn. For this price, I was not expecting them to be as cool as they were.
You know, that's the New York hospitality that people don't talk about it. You know, people grow up around here and they just want to make sure that everybody feels welcome wherever they are.
Try this out. Let's do this. It's not bad, you know what? I'll take this over Nathan's every single time, really.
When everybody comes to New York, you always want to get a dirty water dog, because that's what we call them. And you never know what you're going to get with that. Here, there's a nice snap to the hot dog, really nicely seasoned. I'm assuming it's a sabrette, which again is like one of those iconic New York hot dog brands that you're going to get. Not bad for a two-steak dinner.
If we didn't have more places to go, I could easily down like 3 or 4 of these. Do you feel like downtown Brooklyn doesn't get enough credit in the city?
Like the one thing about downtown Brooklyn when you come down here is that even though it's very accessible, it has a life that's like its own. It's not something that people really journey to, because again, you don't have those iconic New York buildings, although it is just steps away from the Brooklyn and Manhattan Bridge.
You can come here and not deal with a lot of the Manhattan
attitude.
The Manhattan attitude, exactly. Could I do the 3 small fingers with a sticky sauce? Evan, you've told me that Sticky's is your favorite New York City chain. That's why I decided to put this on the video, about $6 for 3 chicken fingers, and this is a New York institution.
So many cities are known for their local chains. Like New York used to just have Shake Shack, and that went national and everything like that. But you know, who in this world doesn't love a good chicken finger?
And we got the white barbecue sauce, which is not really common in the Northeast.
No, absolutely not. This is something that, you know, in my experience is very closely associated with Alabama.
Let's try it. It's got tons of sauce. so crispy.
Crispy, juicy, freshly made. You're not gonna find this too many other places. Really super affordable by New York City standards. And plus, it tastes amazing.
For an extra $1.50, you can get one of their specialties, and we got the Vampire Killer. Can you talk about these ingredients?
Oh, absolutely. Wait, hold on, before I do that. What we have right here is I got some fried garlic, because again, what else does fried garlic not make better? You got garlic sauce, you got Parmesan, you got parsley. Like, honestly, like, this is definitely something that you don't want to have before your first date, otherwise they may not want to get too close to you.
Yeah, Vampire Killer, Date Killer, there's a lot of garlic. Be careful, seriously. All right, let's try this. This looks nuts. Packs a punch.
If you love garlic, this is what you want. This is just beautiful. This is art.
Evan, you found your match. You know what the best part about this experience is right now? As we're eating this, over there is a Soul Cycle station. So Evan, what do you say after we finish the last one, we go and do a little cardio for 30 minutes, or no? You want to keep eating?
No, we're gonna go eat. Like, I don't know if you know me, but we're not stopping. After having that finger, I can honestly tell you, there's no way you can go kiss anybody after that.
It's gonna keep you single for a long time, oh yeah.
You gotta pet the dog though, you gotta pet the dog.
This is not a real dog, for the record. It's fooled me 10 times.
We do 2 beef patties, please.
Good job. That's a good shot. Guys, this is how we do the B-roll for this channel, you know? We don't actually eat anything on these videos. We just pretend to eat.
At least we're not like those people who take like one bite and throw it away.
No. We eat everything. One thing that we don't do enough on this channel is go unscripted, unplanned. We passed Patty Plus. Evan said, Jamaican beef patties, I'm in. And I said, you know what? Not on the list. We're gonna add it to the list. So we just went in, $2.50 each. And this is what New York life is all about sometimes. Sitting on the side of the street here, trying random food from all over the world.
I agree. Let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Hot. Ooh. Describe the beef as pretty mild, but it's got a good meaty taste. It's not like you're just tasting the spices. Yeah. Your family's from Trinidad, so you have a pretty good palate when it comes to Caribbean food, right?
I'd like to think so. Caribbean food, the way in which I would describe this is just straight up comfort food, man. Like, you have this at any time, like you're having a bad day, and this just brightens your day up.
This would definitely brighten anybody's day. If you're into meat, we have to walk far for the next stop. It's literally 3 storefronts down. Can we do a 6-piece pan-fried dumpling, 1 pork, 1 chicken, 1 veggie?
Okay. That's it?
That's it. Look at this colorful plate we got here. Ooh. Fork me. Fork you? Fork me. They hand make these dumplings in the back. That's how I already have a good feeling this is gonna be good. We're not in Chinatown. There is a Chinatown in Brooklyn. There's also Flushing, and there's Manhattan's Chinatown. Finding a good dumpling spot outside of those areas isn't always easy.
Let's see what we got.
Let's see what we got. We're doing veggie. We've done so much meat today. We're gonna start with veggie. Let's take a bite. That's really good. Cabbage, carrots, rice noodles inside.
You know, I don't often eat vegetable dumplings, but what I really do like is that there's a very nice, crispy, thin skin. A lot of times you get dumplings like the skin is just so overwhelmingly thick. This has a nice crunch to it. It's nice and crispy. Honestly, like, if I'm gonna have a veggie dumpling, this is definitely what I would go for.
This is standard operating procedure. New York City pork dumpling, pan fried. I love that soup, the broth inside.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
This was the best 30 seconds of the whole day.
We're speechless, we don't know what to say.
Like, with it being a nice fatty ground pork, like it has like a nice broth that comes out of it. Like there's literally like drippings all over the table where I was just biting out of it. And honestly, like that might be the best drippings I've ever seen in my life.
This is excellent. This is the kind of place you would go out of your way for, certainly if you're in downtown Brooklyn, to stop here.
Even if you're just coming off the Brooklyn Bridge and walking through DUMBO, I would say this is definitely worth the walk if you didn't get your dumpling fix in Chinatown before you walked over the bridges.
We want to do 3 of the falafel sandwiches. Thank you. This might be the biggest falafel I've ever seen in my life. Ridiculous. $7 for
the falafel here at Bedouin Tent. And we're in the Fertile Crescent. That's what they call this area of Brooklyn. From the Brooklyn Bridge down Atlantic Avenue, a lot of Middle Eastern eateries and shops. And Bedouin Tent, well, this is the one we really wanted to come to. $7 for this. This is a sit-down meal. How often are we doing a cheap eats video at a sit-down restaurant?
Oh, you never can do that. It always says a lot when you walk into an establishment and you're greeted by them making the ingredients right in front of you.
Ready? Let's try this.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do this. That pita is phenomenal. I mean, we saw them hand rolling it out front. That was the first thing that I noticed just biting into this, how fresh that pita was.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this is one of the best falafel sandwiches I've had in New York City, by far. Like Mamoon's doesn't even come close. I know that's what...
Mamoon's is like 50% of this.
You know, is this the first ever cheap eats date spot you've had?
Unless you consider a date sitting on a park bench maybe somewhere with some dumplings, then yeah, this might be the first cheap eats date spot we've ever had.
See, there we go. Breaking new ground every day.
Every day. This is our Jordanian spot, and we ordered something called lumi, which is a lime Middle Eastern drink. The best way to describe this, in my opinion, is like a super bitter iced tea. Honestly, the first thing I said when I tried this off camera was, this is weird. Like, this is different. But you should try it if you come here. Evan's trying Middle Eastern lumi.
It's a very unique taste that even I find a little hard to describe, but I can see why people like it. It's just not my thing.
Today we're hunting down the absolute best burgers in Brooklyn, from irresistible $2 sliders to juicy gourmet patties. Hope you brought your appetites. We're gonna eat. We've got Luis back on the channel, local food guide, and we are starting at BK Johnny, which has a famous burger from all places, Pakistan.
Yeah, I've actually never heard of this place, but if it's Pakistani, you can bet that it's gonna have a lot of flavor.
I've read really good things about this. Now we gotta try it.
It's nice in here.
It's got a lot of personality.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My name is Sipta and I'm the Chief Grilling Officer at BK Johnny.
I would love to know, how did this business come to be? I don't think you hear about Pakistani burgers around every corner in New York.
That's true. Still, there's no Pakistani burger in New York City. This goes back to 2013. A friend of mine took me to this place. He said, this is the best halal burger you'll ever have in your life. It was the worst. I took a bite. I saw how he was making it. It was a frozen patty. He throws it on the griddle. And I said, I promise you one day, I'm going to make the best halal burger in the city. Now it's listed as the top 20 in Eater and Infatuation.
You tried it. You knew you could do better. What was your background to
Zero.
do that?
Zero background.
So
I've never worked in the restaurant industry. I am from Lahore, Pakistan, and that's a Punjabi background that I have. And we are all about friends, family, God. And I used to have friends come over to my house, and I used to grill for them. And they used to tell me, like, open up a restaurant. I'm like, I'm not going to open up a restaurant because I hate people, and people are privileged, and they want it their way, and like, I don't want to deal with that. But then I found this opportunity in Bushwick. There was a pizza store that was closed up. I took it over. And September 9th, 2015, when I got the license to operate a restaurant, the woman says, congratulations, you have a restaurant. I said, all right. She goes, what's on the menu? I said, no idea. October 3rd, 2015, the grill was on, and for 2 weeks, I practiced different blends, different techniques to make this burger.
I mean, you do more than just the burger. What's the concept behind the entire restaurant?
NYC Street Food Elevated.
So it's more than just burgers. I've tried them before. You're really well known for your lamb chops.
Yeah.
This caught my attention as I walked in. Like, you have messages from all over the world. Manchester, England, came from the UK to have BK Johnny's beef burger. Best burger I've had. Has this blown up beyond what you would have ever imagined?
It actually did, and I thought it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be one of those things, you do it, you tried it, you gave your best, and then you're done. When the New York Times article came out, I had a 2-hour wait on each table. And
after that article?
Off that article.
Yeah.
Yep, and I've stuck to the same recipe since day one. It's still the same. People come after 7 years, and they try it, and they tell me it's exactly the same, and they left.
Yeah, I'll do one of the Johnny's medium. Medium. Look, is crazy like the most local Pakistani though?
Well, I will eat crazy, yes. My idea about spicy is spicy will make you have a little sweat on your head, and crazy is going to make you sweat.
Medium's good for me.
Nobody does mixed or spicy meats. So there's a lot missing overall from the New York cuisine. Again and again, smash burger. Like everybody's doing the same damn thing.
Because it works.
No, it's not just works. Think about from a business point of view, you could be out in 2 minutes, 30 seconds, you have an order ready. And you have the thinnest patties, the big, they talk about the crispy, bro, it's meat. How can you make it crispy? There's nothing in it.
How long does it take to make a burger here?
11 and a half, 13 minutes, depending on how you want it. So when you come here, your average amount of time will take for your food to get to your table from the ordering is 20 minutes. All the people who have owned restaurants and they have spoken to me, they're like, you guys are too slow. You're not turning the tables fast enough. And I said, the concept is to share the love of food. If I want to make another go, then I would rather switch over to some other cuisine. Like make it something quick.
That actually is a pretty spacious kitchen by like New York standards.
Yes, it is. It's 1.5 times bigger than a regular kitchen. Ready for this?
Luis, could you imagine you had this at home? Just random lamb chops whenever you want them?
I mean, that would be great.
I'm gonna make you guys 6 lamb chops. Start now, and you're gonna put a 3-minute timer on it. We have our secret blend of spices that we roast, mix, and grind. That's all oil and the spice mix, and it's ready. We just cut up the lamb chops and throw the spices on it, and we are done. Maximum marination is like a day.
How many of these do you sell in one day?
A lot.
A lot?
Oh yeah. People come from Philly, Baltimore, Boston, and they will eat it like candy. We're just gonna flip this. I grilled 400 lamb chops and 150 chicken rolls at Burning Man last year.
Oh, you go to Burning Man?
Yeah.
It's like a bartering system at Burning Man, right?
The idea is gifting. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm bringing you this. What are you gonna have? If you come to my camp and we are grilling, we give you whatever we have.
If I was at Burning Man, I'd hang out at your camp all day.
It's gonna be 4 days of me grilling at Burning Man this year. It's huge. It's 77,000 people over there. And you could do anything you want. You name it, and there are people doing that over there. These are the thick ones. They're gonna take a little bit time, like maybe 30 seconds more on each side, but these are done.
What do you spray?
Secret stuff.
Secret stuff.
It's fresh lime juice. Lime is underrated in a lot of places, and I love the smell and the taste.
That's good.
Yep, enjoy.
They got the little handles too. I love it. Ooh, that's packed with spices and flavor. It's a little kick to it, huh? Get the man some water.
You said, I'm Mexican, give me the spice. All right, let's go, Luis.
That's a lot of flavor. He's Mexican, I have a Mexican wife, so we're on the same level here.
Dip it in the chutney now.
Let's go. Love the minty flavor.
That makes it taste really fresh.
Yeah, it adds something extra to this, you know. I was just thinking of people get chicken wings for like big football games. I think I'd rather do this. A bucket of these lamb chops. You feel that in your throat, huh?
I think now it's starting to like settle in.
Yeah.
It was a lot of flavor at first.
Could have done a whole video just dedicated to these lamb chops. I think we would have been fine with that.
So this is my favorite item on the menu. It probably has like 13 spices in it. Fresh cilantro, onion, green chilies, and salt and pepper and everything else. And it's cousin to the lamb chops when it comes to flavors. I can eat this every day and not get bored. There's a very immigrant story, immigrant-based stories in this cuisine.
How long have you lived in the U.S.?
Long enough that I don't need a GPS to go around New York. And I drive everywhere.
Did you come here for college?
Yeah. I did my master's in fine arts from Parsons 20 years ago. Fun times. This burger is going to take 11 minutes to cook from start to finish, and we only start cooking when you guys order. Interesting part about these buns, they're made a mile away. It's called the Native Bread Bakery, and this is a custom brioche bun. Try it. Just have a bite. It's not sweet. It's very, very light. It's amazing. It actually complements my burger pretty well.
I would eat that bread just for fun.
Exactly. Key to a good burger is you gotta toast your bun.
What sauce did you just put
It's the mild mint chutney.
Mild mint chutney.
Yeah.
Cucumbers, all right.
I'm gonna put this back on the grill for 30 seconds.
So Luis, one thing we almost never do on this channel is eat in the kitchen. We're gonna try the Lahari burger, which is Sifteh's favorite. This is the most Pakistani of all the burgers on the menu. You saw it being made. I mean, I love the inside of it. You have the chutney sauce on top. You've got onion. You even have cucumbers on the bottom, which...
I've never seen that. but I think it's gonna give it a really fresh taste.
Yeah? All right, let's take a bite. Cheers.
The meat's real juicy and flavorful. The cucumbers are a great addition, in my opinion.
I just needed a few seconds to like gather my thoughts. I was just enjoying it. Like I was literally just, I forgot about the camera for a second, and I was just enjoying that moment, how good that meat was, and all of the spices and textures, just very well thought out. That was delicious. We didn't even come here for this. This was just a surprise bonus. So thank you.
Yeah, I didn't really taste the spicy at first, but I'm tasting it now.
I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it.
So this one over here is the 8-ounce custom halal beef patty from Pat LaFreda. We worked on it for 2.5 weeks, back and forth, changing a few things over here, a few percentages over here, and this is a really high-fat patty. It's a 70-30 patty, and this is going to be the most delicious burger and the simplest. It gets the mint chutney. We make this mint chutney every day, small batches. So it takes a tablespoon, and then this is the cooling effect, the raita on top.
What is it called?
Raita.
Raita.
Yeah, it's a yogurt sauce with spices in it. And the 2 patties, and this is it. Only 3 items, yeah, that's all it takes. Mint chutney, 8-ounce patty, grilled tomato, raita. That's it.
Thank you so much. You put a lot of love into that. We saw it from the beginning. I'm really excited to try this.
Top 20 of New York City, right here.
I have to say, that was actually the most fun I've had in a kitchen with an owner since maybe ever. He was just giving us food left and right.
So we can tell he's real passionate about what he does.
That always comes out in the food itself. Not a quick burger, but I think it's gonna go down pretty quick. Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. Wow.
Extremely juicy.
The first thing I noticed was the mint chutney, and I never would have thought about pairing mint, a minty flavor on a burger, but it works absolutely perfectly here. And as he said, you have the raita on the top, the yogurt sauce to cool it down, and then you have just the perfect Pat LaFreda patty in the middle. It's such a well thought out burger. It works.
And a couple bites in, you can actually start to taste the spiciness.
He made a good point about that most burgers in New York, the spice comes from something else.
Right.
You put spicy sauce, you put hot sauce, whatever it may be. Here, the patty itself has all the seasoning. The mint chutney adds a little more, but this burger's got a kick. And like if you're thinking of Pakistani food, you are expecting that kind of flavor. You don't come for a Pakistani burger and expect something boring.
There's a lot of places in the city that make good burgers, but a lot of them kind of taste the same. If you want something that's completely unique, that's gonna have a lot of flavor, then this is your spot.
And not only that, I just realized there's no cheese in this.
Sure, don't need it.
Because usually my favorite burgers have some kind of a cheese component to them.
And some sort of like secret sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like there's no secrets here. Like you saw everything. It's pretty basic actually. Everything here was just equally good to me.
Everything was delicious.
We didn't really talk much about the fries. Let's just eat them. Like something called masala fries. All right, it's hot.
Crispy.
It has the kind of spices on top that I think you would expect from a Pakistani restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, we almost forgot the curry ketchup.
Homemade.
A lot tangier, a lot spicier than your typical Heinz ketchup.
Heinz got nothing on this.
Heinz got nothing on this. I filmed at the Hue, one of their locations in Manhattan at a food hall. I just had the lamb chops, heard so much about this burger, and it's like, I think it's actually blown away my expectations. I thought it was gonna be good, but I didn't think it was gonna be this good.
And this, if you really think about it, this is kind of like a representation of New York. You have the American burger in combination with an immigrant cuisine, which is Pakistani food.
Yeah, this is a total New York City burger. You're absolutely right about that. Good immigrant story. I always love to support that. Inside this pizza shop could be New York's best burger.
This burger looks delicious. It's been on my list for over a year. Very excited to try it.
We're finally gonna do it. Let's get in there.
Very kind of like rustic looking.
Like a rustic Italian restaurant, which pretty much what it is.
They got the oven going in the back.
First thing we see is the pizza oven.
Hi, my name is Sammy Pico. I'm the head chef at Emily's in Brooklyn.
Do you know anything about the history of like how Emily came to be? I know there's like multiple locations, right?
Well, the history that I know is that Matt and Emily went to college together. They came down to Brooklyn, and they loved pizza so much that they decided to open up a pizza place. And they named it after her.
How did this burger come to be?
Well, it's a totally different burger. It's like, you know, the way it's built on a pretzel bun, Korean gochujang, caramelized onions that are sweet as well. Everything together, just like made a totally different type of burger. It's just so awesome. The sauce dripping on the side, it's big, it's juicy. Oh, and on top of that, we get our burgers from Pat LaFreda, and the burgers are 7-ounce dried aged beef. That makes the burger taste way better. Me and the chef used to work here all the time, and it just got popular out of nowhere, and people used to come from different countries, different states, to try to make it here, to make 24 burgers every day. It was insane.
So it was a limited?
It was limited every day. Wow. Monday through Friday, and Monday to Thursday was 24. And then on the weekends, we used to do 75. And we used to have lines from here all the way to the corner. All right, so let's get this burger started. So we're gonna take the patty, we're gonna salt it, flip it, salt it on this side. There you go. We're gonna cook it off for 2 minutes and 10 seconds. We're gonna take our beautiful burger bun that we buy from Balter Bakery. We buy it every day, daily, fresh. We're gonna butter it, all right? So we got a nice char. We add a little pepper to it. Then we add some cheddar cheese. I'm gonna take it off, I'm gonna let it rest. This is the special Emmy sauce that people go crazy over. So basically what it is Korean gochujang mixed with some mayo. And it has different ingredients, but if you want to find out how to make it, you gotta get the book.
You don't see this too often at restaurants. You could buy their cookbook. You could literally try to recreate the entire Emmy burger. They even give you the secret ingredients if you want to know what they are.
These are caramelized onions that go on the burger. People love onions. Then we put it in the oven. So what we're seeing is an abomination. So we're seeing, can't get better than this. There you go, a very messy burger. So we give a lot of napkins out.
They provide bibs for this thing?
They give me gloves.
Gloves, good idea.
They give you gloves.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
That was juicy.
What have we gotten ourselves into today, huh?
Hopefully something good.
This is the signature. It even comes with a steak knife in the middle because, as he said, this is one messy burger. We've got the Pat LaFreda dry-aged beef patty, Grafton cheddar, caramelized onions, the Emmy sauce, and we have, of course, on top, a pretzel bun, which I think it makes it pretty unique. Do you know many burgers with pretzel buns?
I don't think I've ever had a burger with a pretzel bun before.
I'm not sure if I have either. And like the fact that this is at a pizza place, a pizza restaurant, makes me excited.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I mean, look at all the juices just seeping through this. Cheese everywhere. As you said, we need gloves and maybe a bib.
Yeah.
All right, enough talk. Let's take a big bite. There are so many layers to this thing. Sweet, little salty, a little umami there. Like, what have I just eaten? This is amazing.
It's juicy, a little bit of spicy. I can see why they need the pretzel bread because you definitely need something that's gonna hold it together. You know?
I was afraid it would fall apart a little bit, but it's actually holding up, you're right. And the patty is fantastic too. Like I really noticed that on the first bite, the Pat LaFreda. Oof.
I was just thinking about how the owners met because they both went on a date to grab pizza and how this would probably not be a good first date spot because you're getting messy.
It's like a third or fourth date. I don't know if I can think of a burger I've ever had that was just like this intense with a mixture of flavors. Some people would want to cut this in half, but I don't think there's a need.
I don't think so.
I think you need to embrace the messiness here. You want to dive in for the fries?
Very nice and crispy.
I wasn't expecting the fries to be this good. The burger can pretty much carry the show. Fries are actually really solid though.
Yeah, it's hardly ever the case where you go to a place and they're good at burgers and good at pizzas. Usually they're kind of mediocre at both.
Usually they're mediocre. It's still holding up after all this time.
They picked the right bun for sure.
You take enough bites, you start to look at the big picture here, and I do think that the Emmy sauce is what holds us all together.
For me, it's the caramelized onions.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he had us back there, he took the patty off the grill and he tossed it in the oven. And he was explaining to us that he did it because he wants the cheese to melt into the patty and for everything to be warm once he hands it out to the customers.
And then that's that common pattern that we tend to see with really
viral dishes or food that has just taken over a city that's become really popular is like the attention to detail, little things like that. So Luis, with your Instagram account, you're really on top of all the viral trends right now in New York, and you've noticed that like this type of burger isn't as big anymore.
Right. Lately, there's been a huge trend to smash burgers. It's refreshing having a burger, essentially a regular burger, and breaking it up a bit, because I've been covering a lot of smash burger spots.
That is what's going viral right now, but I think there's nothing wrong with the classic.
Right.
I'm actually trying to think if this reminds me of any burger I've had. The only one would be the one at No Wan, which is like a Korean-American fusion, just because of like the bold flavors of the sauces. This flavor profile is very different, but that's just a saucy burger that really takes over.
But this would remind me of something that you might see in like Latin America, really saucy like that, with the caramelized onions. I know we love that in Mexico.
To make this like a truly Latino, I think we would have to add like
jalapenos.
Jalapenos and maybe like egg. You can customize it how you'd like, but they said they think the best temperature is medium rare for this. I got no issue with that whatsoever. I mean, they were in the Michelin Guide in 2018, so this is a spot that just had lots of attention over the years. Even Sammy was telling us when the burger first came out, it was a limited edition thing, and people were waiting around the corner for it. Now, you don't have to wait around the corner, just come in and definitely enjoy it. Inside Jubilee Marketplace in Greenpoint could be New York's best burger deal, where each burger costs less than a Subway swipe. And Luis, you've covered this spot before, right?
Yeah, I have. And if you know me, you know I love deals, and this deal is very hard to top.
I've never heard anything cheaper than this.
My name is Young Kim. I'm the CEO and owner for Jubilee Marketplace. Somewhere for everybody to just come, eat, enjoy.
I mean, I'm looking right behind you, the burger special, $2.15, $2.55. It's like prices have been slashed by 20 or 30 years.
So I can't take all the credit, right? Our burger menu was inspired by a childhood favorite of mine, which is White Nana from New Jersey. At the time, it was like $1 and change, and I kind of really wanted to recreate that.
I'm from Fairlawn, not too far from there. Where in Jersey did you grow up?
I grew up in the Fort Lee area.
Fort Lee?
Yep. Right there, Hackensack and Jersey City.
I mean, I'm curious, with a price like that, how do you guys make money?
I mean, short answer is we don't. Per burger, when I calculated it, was something like 3 cents that we're left with.
3 cents you make per burger sold?
3 to 5.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Because our butcher downstairs is whole animal, local, pasture-raised animals, we like to utilize all parts of the animal, especially the cuts that usually are not utilized.
Could you show us the butcher room?
Yeah, sure. Come on. So this is kind of our butcher case right here. We try to work with only local, exclusively local.
Yeah. So this isn't that common if you think about it, like a burger spot having the butcher shop right downstairs like this.
If we do run out, we could just literally go downstairs and be like, can I get 100 pounds of ground beef? Happy Valley really helped us out to match the volume. Even with, I think, 1 steer, it wasn't enough.
So this is the actual ground beef they use in the burgers?
Yeah, we like to keep it like 70-30 to get that nice sear when we do smash it.
So the way I heard of you was on Instagram. Rob Martinez's video was excellent about this cheap, amazing burger. Was it like an overnight sensation?
Yeah, essentially we launched it, and then the following week, the chef owner from Bordertown came by, and he posted it on his Instagram, and then that caught Rob from Righteous Eat's attention, and then he came through, posted his video. I think that night, yeah, we were running out of meat, and the next following day too, we kept running out of meat. It was like all hands on deck.
You might be the hottest burger in New York right now.
I'm just very thankful. Like, everybody's been so supportive. Like, the comments on all the videos, they're very nice. So thank you for all the support. But yeah.
So we're gonna go from square one. So step one, we'll show a love by making meatballs. But with the meatballs, we put garlic confit inside of it. The burgers are thrown on a grill, smashed with love, added with some salt, some onions, some American cheese. Some people prefer the cheese, some people don't.
So the onions are like caramelized?
So at the beginning on the top, they're steamed, and then when they're flipped, they become caramelized. But we really do make our food with real love. All of our products is fresh that we use for it.
How long do the burgers take to cook?
When there's like a big number like this, they'll usually take 5-6 minutes. Okay. But if we're talking about like, it'll be like 5 singular, like they'll cook within like 2 minutes.
Do you know how big the patties are?
2.5 ounces.
2.5 ounces, okay. Pretty small. Most people want a couple of them. You can't just have
one.
one.
That was one order of 20.
A lot of burgers.
A lot. So our sauce is made in-house. It's been made by our chef, but I'm the one that usually makes it for upstairs. So it comes with ketchup, mustard, mayo, relish, and Frank's hot sauce. And it comes with a little bit of Dijon. Nobody will notice, but just a tad bit.
Oh, thank you. You know, what's crazy, Luis, is after all the huge burgers that we had in today's video, ending with these 2.5-ounce smash burger sliders, like, it's perfect. This was written out so well.
For sure.
And I loved Young's story about how this was inspired by white manna in New Jersey, North Jersey, where I'm from. And I'm ashamed to admit I've actually never eaten there. Ooh. I've always wanted to, so I think I'm gonna have to go to my home state. Yeah, I know. I mean, you were already telling me how good this was, right?
Right. I mean, it works out perfectly because they have the butcher shop downstairs so they can get the meat. And it's high quality meat. It may be a small burger, but they really care a lot about the process and providing their customers with something good to eat that's also affordable. $2.55. That's actually less than a Subway ride now.
You know, the closest I could say I grew up with on this was like White Castle. These look way better than White Castle burgers, way better. Got the pickles sticking out there, potato buns. There's a lot of good things going on. All right, let's see if we have any appetite left. I think we have enough for a couple of these, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's rock. You know what? After having all of these kind of insane patties today with a lot of different ingredients going on, the simplicity of this actually really, really nice. The caramelized onions, patty's nice and juicy. Yeah. I don't know if I want to use the word gourmet, but this is impressive.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they think about smash burgers, they associate it with it being dry, but this is actually a very juicy patty, and I think it comes down to the use of the onions, which adds more moisture to the meat.
Yeah. I think the real question is, if you were hungry, how many of these bad boys could you eat in one sitting?
Bro, last time I ate 7.
7? Yeah. Here's a good number for you guys. It is $30 for 14 of these. And the burger we had at Emily, which was amazing, was $31 for one. Now, it's a completely different process, completely different burger, but just think of the economics a little bit there, all right? You are right, though, the fact that they got the butcher shop downstairs allows them to keep the prices like this. And also, I think it's good marketing because you're funneling people into the supermarket. They're probably gonna buy other things. I imagine most people come here, they're not just buying one burger. They're gonna go shop for ramen. I don't know, they got a lot of cool stuff here, actually.
And here's a tip for you guys. They actually have a bacon, egg, and cheese for $3. So even in the morning, they have deals.
You know, Greenpoint is considered a very expensive neighborhood these days. Honestly, this is probably the last spot I would think would have a $2.55 cheeseburger. Addicting, man, I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm gonna eat more than one for sure. And you had an idea about what you would do with a sack of these, right?
Yeah, I think a good summer activity would be to order a 30-pack of this, take it down to Skyline Drive-In, which is 0.3 miles from here, and enjoy one of their drive-in movies. It has a really beautiful view of the New York City skyline from the outside. It's perfect during sunset.
And that right there is why you need to follow this man on Instagram and TikTok for all of his pics. He knows all the hot stuff in New York, so give him a follow, show him some love. Like most things in New York, there's so many different varieties of burgers. I know smash burgers are the hot thing right now. You know, these cheap sliders, great value. And then we had Emily, which was just a flavor explosion. Then we had the Pakistani burger. It's like, what can't you find in New York these days?
It kind of depends what you're craving that day. You know, if you want something that's gonna be simple but pack a lot of flavor, you're gonna go Pakistani. If you want something quick and you're looking to maybe save a couple bucks, you're gonna go here. But if you want something a little bit more saucy, that's gonna really fill you up and have that high quality dry aged meat, you're gonna go with Emily's.
Well, we've done videos in Queens, Manhattan, on their burgers. There's a lot of different varieties in this city, and plenty that we haven't covered yet, so tell me in the comments which ones we should cover. Brooklyn, home to some of the best pizza on the planet. Today, we're taking Mary Jane, an Italian YouTuber living in New York, to try Brooklyn pizza for the first time and see her reaction. We've got 3 big-name slice joints lined up. This is going to be one tasty adventure, I can promise you that. All right, guys, for our first stop in this Brooklyn pizza tour, we are going to Luigi's, and this place has been around since 1973. It is a staple in South Slope, and I think our guest is gonna like this spot a lot. First time trying Brooklyn pizza, what are your expectations?
Maybe a little bit more Italian, because just running around Brooklyn, seeing the places from outside, the pizza places, they look more Italian inspired than the ones in Manhattan.
Heard good things about you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. She's from Italy, so she's gonna be responding to it.
Oh yes, Italiano.
Sei mai stato? Sei mai stato a visitare? Sì. Ah, bravo.
You were saying where you were from, right?
Yeah. You know, I haven't had breakfast this morning, like you told me, John.
Yeah.
So, I'm ready.
You're ready.
For loads of pizza.
Management here gave us a few samples. They're very generous, so thank you to them. And this is gonna be a good experience to start this video already for Mary Jane. We've got so many different types of pizzas to sample here.
Okay, I'll go with the plain one. So hungry.
Whoa, that was a good reaction.
Oh my god. So much for Brooklyn pizza. This is something I've never tasted in Manhattan, honestly. Let me take another bite. Wow. John, thank you for having invited me to this Brooklyn pizza tour. I'm already very satisfied, I must say.
After just 2 bites.
Typical New York style pizza. So you can taste the cheese, for example, is the typical New York mozzarella, which is very different than the Italian real mozzarella. But the sauce of this pizza is amazing. The tomato sauce, it has such a great flavor. I don't know how to explain this. And also the crust is, I think, a bit different than the New York style, like the classic one that you get in Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's way thinner.
So I was reading that Luigi's was famous for this mozzarella slice. So I've had plenty of classic New York slices before. I wanted to go with something a little different. I love the mozzarella on top of this, just like big globs of it. And they were telling me about all the basil sauce on top. Look at that. Fresh mozzarella, tomato. So good.
This might be the best plain cheese New York style slice that I've ever had.
My son's 3.5 years old, and he's Luigi too.
So 3 Luigis.
Well, I'm Giovanni.
Oh, you're Giovanni.
I'm Giovanni Luigi. Yeah. I'm after my grandfather. He's after his grandfather. You know, the tradition.
Mary Jane makes friends everywhere she goes. We got free shirts.
I'm gonna wear this with pride in Manhattan.
Bye, thank you so much. Guys, I just want to say that we came into Luigi's. They had no idea who we were. I didn't tell them how many subscribers I had. They just invited us to film, let us try extra samples. That was so cool of them.
Your first experience in Brooklyn, pretty good, right?
Oh yeah, pretty impressive.
All right, so we've taken the subway to Bensonhurst. We are in front of J&V Pizzeria. This spot's been around since 1950. It was the first place to serve slices in Bensonhurst, and it's a big neighborhood spot. Truthfully, I've never even tried it, so I'm excited for this, and I'm sure Mary Jane is equally as excited.
Let's go, let's try it.
Would you like seeing the pork store across the street right there?
Bari pork store? You know where Bari is. Bari is the main city in Apulia, beautiful region in the south of Italy.
Fresh mozzarella, marinara, chopped up basil.
If you want to hear what an Italian has to say about this, this is called margherita. Margherita, sorry. But in Italian it would be margherita. And margherita in Italy is the simplest pizza, which is just mozzarella with tomato and basil. Okay, I'm gonna try the margherita now. Oh, this
Let's fall apart. Yeah.
This is definitely something that I haven't tried before. It's very different than the margherita that we have in Italy. The tomato is very fresh. I can taste the basil, which is very nice. It gives it this freshness. And also the mozzarella is, I don't know what type of mozzarella this is, but it's not the classic Italian one, nor the classic New York style cheese that they put on the plain slice. Something different.
You approve? Just a classic slice. I mean, what else can you say? Bensonhurst.
cheese is just stringy enough too. I feel like compared to Luigi's, this is more cheese, and I'm curious to see Mary Jane's response to that.
So much cheese in this slice. Oh my god. So much cheese. This is definitely very American style. New York style pizza. It's very tasty, very full of flavor. It's very tasty. It's like the perfect, how would you say it? Perfect food for when you're drunk.
That's one way of putting it.
Guys, I just want to remind you that we're having a special promotion for the month of August. If you join our Patreon, I'm going to send you one of these vintage postcards handwritten from New York City on me. Details down below if you want to support what we do on this channel. Videos like this. We didn't tell any of the owners we're coming. We paid for all this stuff. Check out the link in the description. Thanks a lot, guys. You gonna have dinner tonight? This is it. I think I'm done eating for 24 hours after today.
I'm gonna bike later, so probably I'll have dinner too.
All right, Mary Jane, we've done 2 spots. We got 1 more to go. What were your final thoughts on J&V?
J&V, I would say, is the classic New York spot. It was good, and if you like the plain cheese slice with a lot of cheese and very tasty, like American way, this is the perfect spot, definitely.
For our last stop, we are at a destination in Brooklyn, L&B Spumoni Gardens. This place is absolutely packed. This is a really well-known pizza place. I mean, it doesn't need much of an introduction if you live in Brooklyn, but they have been super famous for their Sicilian pies since the 1950s. And we've got a lot to say about this spot.
Very curious. It's so packed here, so many people. It's a big place, and I've heard about it before. So I'm curious to see how is their upside down Sicilian slice.
All right, Mary Jane, this is by far the most unique slice that we've had in the video, maybe that you've ever seen.
I've waited so long to try this pizza, so I'm very excited.
What's the verdict?
So I love the tomato sauce on top. It's so sweet. I think they claim it to be sweet as well. It's very, very pleasant in the mouth. And then the cheese is not that aggressive because it's underneath the tomato, so I guess the first thing that you taste is actually the tomato and not the cheese. Very good. You're gonna like the dough, John, because it has a nice chew on it.
Yeah.
Look at it inside. So the dough is very chewy, is very moist on the top, and the bottom is nice and crunchy.
Guys, you've been asking me to try this place forever. I'm finally at L&B. Finally, here we go. Oh, that's good. Oh, the tomato sauce on top. Like, I love tomato sauce. It's just the right mix of sweet and tangy, and as Mary Jane explained, when you get to that dough, it's got just the perfect amount of chewiness. I've never had an upside down slice before. I've heard of it at a few places, but this to me lives up to the hype. I mean, you can't really compare this to anything else in New York. This is very distinctive here, but wow, like, I just took 1 bite and that had an impact. That was like the biggest impact of the week for me food-wise. I liked everywhere we filmed on this video, but I will easily say this was my favorite slice of the day. Did they have anything like this in Italy? Even close?
No, this would be too sweet of a tomato for Italy, for the Italian standard taste. You know, we have good food, but we are very, very traditional in Italy about food, and we don't like to experiment that much. So, yeah, tomato is usually not so sweet, and people would not accept a slice like this in Italy.
Look at this. Look at this. So they call it Spumoni Gardens for a reason. This is actually what they sold here. Before they even sold pizza, they sold Spumoni, which is a type of Italian gelato, and I got their rainbow flavor, the most famous, chocolate, pistachio, almonds. It's gonna be good.
I saw the cup, I thought it was barely gonna be anything, and they stacked this guy.
It has tiny little bites of crunchy nuts inside, which is very pleasant. I mean, the look of this pistachio is called.
Is that in Italian?
Pistachio is the Italian version. It's a little bit, looks like chemical. This is definitely not the natural color of pistachio.
Trying Spumoni for the first time. You know, Mary Jane was absolutely right. This is so hard to describe. It's like this big flavor fusion of everything. And the pistachio is like super, super strong. But I like it. It's got a nice little minty touch. Yeah. It's just growing on me. The more I eat this, the more flavors I mix, the happier I get.
Living in Brooklyn is just as expensive as Manhattan these days, but what if I told you you can still find amazing cheap eats in this borough? Today, I'm gonna be sharing the best new cheap eats in Brooklyn. Hurry to these spots before they get too popular. Nene's Taqueria just opened up this past Saturday in Park Slope. Less than a week, and the Bushwick version opened in 2020, one of the most popular taco shops in the entire city. Park Slope is very lucky. Let's check out their famous birria tacos.
So the story behind Nene's Taqueria started in 2020. I had recently come from Mexico after 6 months over there. And once I came back, I decided to open a small taqueria. It was basically focused on birria tacos, and the rest was history. So over there we got the vertical spin, the adobada, which is, that's how it's known back in the border side. Have the grill for pollo asado, carne asada. Here's where the birria tacos are made. And we have our tortilleria. We made fresh tortillas by order.
So they're all handmade here?
Yeah, this all handmade.
Look at this masterpiece of fine birria. Nene's Taqueria's famous quesabirria tacos. We have what could arguably be Brooklyn's best tacos in my hand right now. And there's nothing like dipping it in the consomme, that juicy beef, white cheese, baked in, which you saw. My mouth is watering. Here we go. I'm just thankful that I live a few blocks from here. They're gonna be seeing my butt in this seat a lot over the next couple of months. Wow. With the consomme, the spices of that first bite, nice crunchy shell of the birria, juicy meat. Cheese is incredible. I don't know what else I can say about this, except I wanna eat more than I wanna talk, which is rare. As far as eating is concerned, just dipping your birria taco in the consomme, there are a few things more satisfying in this world for me when I want Mexican food. See that cheese ball? Every bite it just keeps getting better and better. No salsa required. It's got more than enough juices already. I also got Mexican Coke here, which is becoming more and more common and easier to find in New York City, but still.
Like, this taco knows how to put a smile on someone's face.
It's wet, it's juicy, and sometimes when you're hungry, that's all you need.
I don't think they're gonna need my help promoting this place. Once word spreads that Nene's is here on 4th, come while you can. Come before there's a really big line. It may be too late by the time you see this video. This is DOP Pizza. They had their soft opening this past summer, and they really blew up in popularity when Dave Portnoy gave them an 8.1 on his Barstool Pizza review show. But I was onto this spot before Barstool was here. I live very close by. I came here for my birthday this past year. That's how much I like DOP, but I want to show you firsthand. You know, for a new place, they have a really old school decor in here, which I love. Feels like it's been around forever. All right, fresh out of the oven. Look at that. DOP is a nice pandemic story because their owners started this inside of their apartment. They were one of the many pizza spots, other types of food coming out of Instagram, selling out, but they got this beautiful brick and mortar spot and the neighborhood has just rallied behind them and they've become so popular. We got the Nona Manna, which just came out fresh with sausage and shallots on top. So a little bit different than their typical Nona. It's just something they had for us. So this is finished with Sicilian oregano, fresh torn basil, 24-month aged Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And that's one of my favorite cheeses on earth for pizza. Also on the Nonna Maria slice at Bleecker Street Pizza, my personal favorite. All their pies here use 4-day fermented dough. So the attention to detail at DOP, extremely high. I've actually never had the Nona Manna before. You can taste that sausage, shallots right away, Parmigiano Reggiano cheese on top. It's like the perfect complement to this. Wow, this is a specialty slice. Something I'm noticing with a lot of the newer pizza spots in New York is they're elevating the game, trying to use the freshest possible ingredients, a lot of local variety here. You know, DOP is stepping things up. This is the new school pizza game in New York City, stepping up the ingredients, doing things a little bit differently than a lot of other spots. You know, I talked to the owner before and he told me that the location here years ago used to be an old mafia social club spot. That's right. So a lot of history here, I'm sure, but a new pizza spot in Park Slope, residents raving about this place. I've come here so many times already. I made sure to test it out a lot before I even put it on camera, and I've never been disappointed by any of their slices. Today, we're starting part 1 of a 2-part series on Brooklyn's Chinatown. Spanning over 30 blocks in Sunset Park, it's not well advertised and has some of the tastiest cheap eats in New York City. We'll be trying everything from unnamed street food stalls to a 1980s-looking mall food court and more. Let's get off the eaten path in New York's unknown Chinatown. All right, I'm pretty excited. This is my first time ever in Brooklyn's Chinatown, and I'll be honest, I don't think most New Yorkers have even heard of this, which is a shame. And I think after watching a series of videos, you're gonna wanna visit for sure. Now let's meet our co-host.
Hey, what's up everyone? We're gonna explore some cheap eats today and check out Brooklyn Chinatown. This is a great place to be, and I'm excited.
Apparently, an amazing tofu stall with no name.
I know, this is crazy, but it's got no name and it probably has the best tofu pudding in all of New York City. And I've tried it a few times. We're about to try it again.
Let's check this out.
3 small tofu pudding.
You can tell it's gonna be a good video because we're starting with dessert. You know, we're completely going out of order here. And if this is the best tofu pudding in New York City on a random corner here in Brooklyn, then I would say that this should be fun. All right, let's try this. It's so warm and comforting, and it's not really that filling actually. So I think after a big meal, a dessert like this actually be really, really good.
And this is a ginger syrup. And what it does is it gives it a very slight sweetness, not overwhelming, and the tofu is very soft. It's nice and warm too. Perfect to really warm yourself up, especially on a cold day like today.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's in the 50s, it's really feeling like fall right now. This would be a nice cap to a long day of eating. We're just doing it backwards. I mean, we're doing dessert first, but I don't mind. What's your favorite Chinese dessert?
Probably the egg tarts.
Which will be coming up in part 2.
Yeah, we have a part 2 coming out. We're gonna get the best egg tarts in New York City.
I don't think enough people realize how many little ecosystems there are in New York City. And I shouldn't call this little because this is over 30 blocks of Chinatown. But there's so many worlds like this out there that your average tourist wouldn't even think to come here. And this is a spot that until the 1990s was not even Chinese.
I know. It was actually Norwegian up until about the 1960s, and then it became abandoned. And they didn't really know what to do with the area until the Chinese moved in. It was first the Cantonese immigrants in the 90s who came here from like the Hong Kong area and Guangdong. And then in the early 2000s, another wave of Chinese immigrants came to this area from the Fujian region of China. And now this is pretty much mostly Fujianese businesses along the stretch.
We're in front of a Lucky 8. Well, we said 8 was a lucky number in Chinese. We're on 8th Ave, and we're gonna get some meat over rice, keeping it simple.
Yeah, this place is known for their Cantonese roast meats. They got everything from the roast pork, the squid, the ginger scallion chicken, and roast duck.
There was not a single word of English in there. So they do speak English though, but no English on the menu, so you need to know what to ask for.
Yeah. Basically, you can just point at it, say, hey, I want this roast pork with rice and vegetables.
See, they just assumed we were gonna share this with our big family. We got 4 forks.
Yeah. Chinese roast pork, we normally eat it as part of like a celebration. Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year holidays, Autumn Festival, we have a big plate of roast pork, but you can eat it pretty much any day if you want. That's
ready?
a big one.
Let's do it. Lots of flavor. Little barbecue. Oh, there we go. We're leaving our trail of cookie crumbs all over Chinatown. Feel a little smoky flavor, a little barbecue, a little something.
Cut of meat they used was very lean. I didn't really taste too much fat in it, but you can always ask them for a different cut of meat if you want more fat in it or not.
I think this is perfect. With all the food we're eating in this video, you know, less fat the better. When you think of neighborhoods in New York for the best cheap eats, always Chinatown comes up. Even in Manhattan, and Chinatown is surrounded by some extremely expensive neighborhoods. Why is Chinese food always so affordable in the city?
A lot of these immigrants, they didn't really have too much money to start off with, so they feel like they're giving back to the community by having prices very low.
So this is it. It looks like we're about to eat at somebody's house.
It does. Heye Xiaochi. It's a Fujianese restaurant, and we're in a Fujianese Chinese Chinatown neighborhood, and we have to try out their cuisine, so let's go for it.
Let's do this. Is anyone here?
Yeah, someone's here.
They're open, I think. We have to get their attention.
Yeah. Hi, can we get the noodle with peanut sauce? Huh? Peanut noodle?
I have to say, I don't know where you find these places. They get more random as we go, but we're not going to judge a book by its cover. What we have here is a little carb overload. We've got the peanut sauce, and it's at the bottom, so we're mixing it together.
Yeah, they must have dripped it in and all the sauce is at the bottom.
So I've had the famous peanut noodles at Shuzhou Fuzhou Cuisine in Manhattan's Chinatown. I'm going to be curious how these compare. You ready?
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Got a big pull there.
I know, too much.
Look at that. Look at that. This is a Mikey Chen noodle pull here. Okay, now I'm gonna take a big bite. It's really good. The one in Manhattan, I think it's got a stronger flavor, which I prefer personally, but I'm someone that likes a really sweet, flavory sauce. This is more understated.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more light. But which one gives you more noodles? I don't know.
I think these guys might give more noodles. I don't think anyone in my life has ever given me this much noodles, period. I think I need a nap after this, though.
It's carb overload.
Oh my goodness, it is.
Look at this.
All right, I could dig this. I feel like we're in an 80s mall food court.
It used to be a lot more busy, but with COVID.
Yeah, it's not too busy, but I think that could have to do with indoor dining and people trying to avoid it.
One order of pork soup dumplings?
Yeah, just one.
Just one.
$5.50. I was thinking this is different. I'm not used to seeing soup dumplings coming in this type of a carton.
It looks like a Italian food container.
We're not going for presentation here. We're looking for taste. That is the most important thing. Taste and value, not presentation. So let's try this.
Go ahead.
We got some vinegar on the side. You have to be careful with soup dumplings because if you bite it the wrong way, you can burn your tongue. It's happened to me a couple times. All right, you want to try this?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, 1, 2, 3. I did it in 2 bites. Better than I expected. By no means the best I've ever had, but good for a random mall food tour, we could say.
Yeah,
Curious
for
what
$5.50.
For $5.50, I'm curious what you think.
Less than $1 each. Well, I have to say the skin, I think it was a little bit thick, but it still has a good flavor. The soup is all there. Let's go for the meat. You know what? The meat is really good. It's very flavorful. Has very good substance to it, and you even saw them making it in the window. Great.
Now, would it be disrespectful if I Asian dad this, or?
Wow, he's going all Asian dad in this.
I'm gonna do a non-Asian dad style. I wanna see like the soup like dripping out like John.
Oh, you want to do the John Barr style? You sure?
Yeah.
That's called John Barr style.
If you eat a John Barr style, that's how you unleash the full potential of the soup dumpling.
Hope you're all ready for part 2 of our Brooklyn Chinatown Cheap Eat series. If you missed part 1, putting a card above. And we're starting video 2 in a basement.
Yeah, and not just any basement, but this is a Buddhist temple. And with a Buddhist temple should come a good vegetarian restaurant. So we're about to check that out right now.
I can smell the incense. We hear some chanting right now. I think from monks, perhaps?
Yeah, from monks. Whatever music they're playing here.
So I've got a peaceful vibe already. Let's get in the basement. I've seen food in the basement of a Hindu temple before. I've seen food at a church in Harlem, and now a Buddhist temple. I'm feeling a trend here in New York City. Couldn't get more random if we tried for these destinations to eat. All right,
Buddhist
so what are we gonna do with this?
So there we have the side order of rice here, and we want to put the bean curd combo onto the rice. So let's use the spoon and scoop over the bean curd.
So we got a little tofu, a little cabbage, a little rice, mixing it all together. This is for all the viewers out there that complain that I eat meat all the time on my videos. I am willing to do vegan or vegetarian time to time.
Let's try it. You get some bean curd. It's also the same as tofu. Bean curd, tofu.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's go.
That tofu is actually good.
You know what? It's good.
I normally hate tofu, for the record. Hate tofu. I like this tofu.
This is really good, especially the mushroom. It's really, really soft and slender, and the tofu really just glides in your mouth, and it has a really good spiciness flavor to it. I really can't complain. It's really good.
Yeah, tofu just melts in your mouth. I'm surprised. In a good way, in the best possible way.
I'm really surprised too.
I think that's my favorite thing about doing these sorts of videos, exploring these parts of New York, trying new things like this. For the next stop, we are waiting in line. The line's moving quick, and you had a funny interaction with this bakery yesterday, right?
Yeah, because I was reading online that this place sells out of egg tarts really quick, so I called in, and they were like, oh, just come tomorrow, come tomorrow. And they didn't allow me to make any kind of reservation or order at all. So
here we are.
Here we are. The line's moving quick though.
These egg tarts look absolutely humongous.
I know. Look at that. It's like this big pretty much.
Portuguese egg tart. What do we got here?
Oh yeah, we have the very, very good baked crust, egg and sugar that's perfectly burnt on the top. And these are supposed to be the best egg tarts in the city. I've never had them before, but we'll try them out.
I've never had these ones before either. The last time I had an egg tart in Manhattan's Chinatown, it was so small I could practically eat it in one bite. This would be physically impossible to eat in one bite, so we're gonna really enjoy this. All right, ready to try it?
Let's try it, hold on.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, 1, 2, 3. There's so many layers to this thing.
Oh, wow.
Right? I mean, you get the crispy little crust, savory in the middle, little sweet.
It really feels like a cake because the crust is very like, I don't know if it's butter in there, but it really feels like that kind of consistency. And this egg, it really doesn't feel like an egg. It's like very gooey and just a lot of flavor in this. It's unbelievable.
I find this interesting because we're eating a Portuguese egg tart from Chinatown, but this was actually brought over to China by the British in the 1920s and then Hong Kong, right?
Oh yeah, kind of a funny story because you would think, oh, Chinatown, Chinese egg tart, and then it says Portuguese egg tart, but it's actually British. The recipe's from Britain.
Ben's opinion, what does Ben think? The foodie camera guy.
$1.50.
This is $1.50?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would pay more than $1.50.
So would I.
Absolutely.
I'd pay $2 for it easily.
I'd pay 3.
I'd pay 4.
$4 for it? Man.
Just to add, yeah. It was really good.
I feel like the Chinese community in New York City is really, they've left their footprint here. I mean, you have so many different Chinatown enclaves. How would you describe that experience, being both a New Yorker, but also with Chinese background?
Well, I feel like there's a large amount of Chinese here, and for that, I really feel closer to my ethnicity, like where my family's from. So I can go and enjoy the food, the culture, and not have to go far.
No, you definitely don't have to go far. Most of the boroughs have something.
Yeah, every borough has a Chinatown, I think, except for Staten Island and the Bronx. Three of the 5.
And Brooklyn has more than one.
More than one, which I find incredible.
Yeah, so do I.
No, Queens has 2 also, Elmhurst and Flushing, but Elmhurst is very small compared to these.
But the Manhattan one is the one that gets all the attention, and I understand why, for the proximity to everything. It makes sense.
And it's the original one.
But I get people asking me sometimes, they say, I've been to New York this many trips and I'm tired of all the touristy stuff, I'm tired of doing the same old thing, where would you send me? One of my answers now would be Brooklyn Chinatown for sure.
Yeah, Brooklyn Chinatown for some of the food we had.
We're in front of Kai Feng Fu Dumpling House, and you really wanted to try this place, right?
Yeah, I wanted to try it, especially because Mike Chen of Strictly Dumpling referred to this place, and I'm excited.
All right, Strictly Dumpling says it's good. Let's check it out. Wow. Those are big.
Yeah, it looks perfectly pan-fried too.
Show everybody at home.
Hold it up, hold it up.
One bite or no?
Yeah, 1 bite.
All right, 1 bite, everybody knows the rules. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Asian dog.
So hearty, so hearty. Ton of meat too. Lots of flavor, oh yeah.
There's so much dough on this dumpling and it's fried perfectly well. Love the crispy skin. So much meat in here. Oh man, I didn't even taste the aftertaste. Like it was really, really crunchy. Crispy, crunchy, a lot of meat. Can't complain. These are some really good dumplings.
What he said. The thing, we were actually about to order only 6 of these, and now I wish I ordered 10 more 10 for $3. This could be one of the best values I've seen in New York City in a while. For our final stop on this two-part series, we're going to a Vietnamese spot to show you that Chinatown is not just Chinese establishments, and I heard that they had banh mi here, so I was sold.
Oh yeah, I've heard rumors of this place that they have the best banh mi sandwich in New York City, so we're about to verify if that's true or not.
Let's verify.
Smells good in here too.
Sure does. Thank you. We got a lot of food. Oh shoot! Folks, blooper reel. Well, that was great.
There is my papaya shake.
Look guys, he saved a little bit. He saved a little bit for the video. Gotta give him some credit. You got so little for your money though.
I know.
How much did you pay for that? You got this much?
What happened? I don't know. $4 for a
$4 and most of it's on the floor, yeah.
And on my pants.
Oh boy. Any laundromats around here? Talk about a cinematic conclusion to this video, well outside of Ken spilling everything. But we're gonna try what could be the best banh mi sandwich in New York City. What do we got inside of this?
We got some pork roll here, ham and turkey, along with a cucumber and some carrots, I believe, and also, not sure what this is. Well, I also see parsley, but
we'll eat it though, whatever.
We'll go. Let's do it.
We don't know what it is, we'll just eat it. Ready?
Yep.
Let's try this.
Let's go.
My first impression was the bread was so good. Like, I don't think you can make a good banh mi sandwich or any sandwich if the bread's not good. And there's a sauce in this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you can tell what it is, but it had a really interesting flavor.
It kind of tastes a little bit like mayo, but it's a little more smooth and a little more savory. But like John said, the bread is absolutely amazing like this, because sometimes with banh mi sandwiches, the bread isn't perfect and all the meats just blend in well with all the vegetables, the cucumber. This has to be the best banh mi sandwich in New York City.
I haven't had a ton of banh mi sandwiches in New York, but from the few that I've had, this definitely stands amongst the rest as the best one I've had, even better than the one that's no longer open in Manhattan. And I agree with Ken, I actually like the combination of meats. They balance each other out somehow. It's just like the perfect sandwich to eat at sunset, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Sunset and Sunset Park. What can go wrong, right? Well, my drink spill, that's what can go wrong.
That could go wrong. Is this the best slice in New York City? I'm John, a New York City vlogger, and I love making videos about pizza. From ranking the top dollar slice joints to having visiting Italians try it, I'm up for anything. And in this video, we're going to eat at two famous pizza rivals located under the Brooklyn Bridge, who just happen to be neighbors, and see who's better. We're gonna be putting Grimaldi's and Juliana's to the test with the help of two New York City food vloggers. We're ordering one pie from each spot, and we're gonna be ranking it from a 1 to a 5 to finally put this debate to rest.
Grimaldi's is one of my favorite pizzerias as a kid. It used to be in the space right down the block, which is now Juliana's. So I used to come here very often, get the pies to go, eat inside. Always loved it. Let's see how it is now under the new ownership and the new location. Pie to go. Pie to go.
How long did that take to get?
About, say, 7 to 8 minutes.
We've got our first pie. How much did it cost?
This one's $20 for the smaller pie.
$20 for the small margarita pie. Something to note, this is the first time I have ever seen no line in front of Juliana's or Grimaldi's. We timed this for midwinter, midweek. This was very intentional.
Absolutely. Post-holiday season.
Post-holiday season.
All
right, Greg, before we start, what kinds of things are we going to be looking for in this pizza taste test?
Say definitely looking for the flavor of the crust. It has the right level of char from that coal oven, because the coal oven is very key to these pies. Not many coal ovens left in New York City, so that adds a special flavor to it. I say the flavor of the sauce, if it's not too salty, not too sweet, somewhere right in the middle. And the cheese got to have a nice flavor to it, nice creamy flavor. And I see there's a decent amount of basil on here, so looks pretty good.
Greg is leading off the taste test challenge. 1 to 5, do your thing.
All right, so there we go. Now look at it. You can see that little bit of ash from the coal oven. Not heavily charred. It doesn't feel too crispy, but it looks good. It looks like a nice amount of sauce on top, which I like. I like sauce on top, so let's take a bite.
He needs another bite just in case.
Sauce is a little salty. Not as much flavor on that crust as I would like from the coal oven. I'll give it 3.5.
Is it as good as when you had it as a kid?
I would say no.
Jumi's up next.
Uh-oh. Okay.
She just went right in.
I say 1 more bite.
Everyone has needed a second bite so far. Interesting.
It has to be.
We have to be precise here. We need 2 bites.
Yeah, sauce is a little salty, but the cheese balances it, so, well, yeah. I'd say 3.5.
Husband and wife. What a surprise. Same number.
I wasn't even listening to you.
I'm not as good as Greg and Jumi at rating food, but I do know my pizza a little bit. All right. 1 to 5. Here we go, Grimaldi's. Is this the best slice in New York City? I need a second bite. It's good. I like the crust, but I feel like there's something lacking with the tomato sauce flavor. I don't know if it's too salty, as they were saying, something else. I'm gonna go with a 3.2.
3.2, okay.
3.2. We're gonna change the numbers just a little bit. A 3.2. Solid pizza. Definitely not the best in New York. Excited to try Juliana's though after this.
So do we have a food tour tonight?
Not tonight, but we do offer an awesome food tour and Airbnb experiences. We show you some of the best street food in New York City, a very local, off the beaten path experience. We'd love to have you. We hope to see you on one of our tours.
See you soon.
This is where the original Grimaldi's was. I went here so many times as a kid. I loved it. It's one of my first favorite pizzas in New York City, actually, growing up. Yeah, I'd even come with family. We'd actually call in the order 10 minutes before we got here so we could pick it up and just eat it in the car.
So there actually is a small line here at Juliana's. I don't think we're gonna be waiting too long. We gave Grimaldi's 3.5, 3.5, 3.2, about a 3.4 or so average. Hoping Juliana's can top it, but we're gonna be honest with you guys if it doesn't.
Medium margarita pie?
Smells so good. This is the hardest walk in history. I just want to rip this open and start eating them right now.
This looks very different than the Grimaldi's. You can tell right away. Look at all the oregano on there. The crust looks a little more charred. At first glance, it looks thinner. Hopefully more crisp, we will find out.
So the score to beat for Greg is 3.5. Remember, 1 to 5, we're gonna be tallying up the average at the end to see who wins. Time for Juliana's.
All right. Say at first glance, it looks great. I'm a big fan of oregano too, so I see a lot of oregano here. Looks very well balanced. The crust looks very thin. I'm trying to get the best possible slice here for the first impression. Let's go with this one. See, there's a little more color on the edge of that crust, and even the bottom's got a little bit of a flop, but it already feels more crisp than Grimaldi's. Let's take a bite. Yeah. I've had Juliana several times. This is as good as I always remember it being. I'm gonna give this one a 4.6.
Ooh, high number here.
Yeah, so what's nice here is that everything is well balanced and harmonious, all the ingredients. The crust has that nice char. You can really taste the flavor from that coal oven. The oregano gives it a nice herbal kick. I'm a big fan of oregano. If you like oregano, you'll probably like this one too. The sauce is not salty like the last one, and it's not overly sauced. See, the other one's sauce was dripping. We actually got it all over us too. And the sauce here has a nice tomato flavor, no extra salt. The mozzarella is nice and creamy. Nice amount of basil here. Excellent stuff.
Okay. Okay, for me, with everything in here, basil, oregano, perfect balance to everything, 4.8.
Ooh, almost perfect.
Almost perfect. It's not too salty. Yeah.
All right, here goes. Final bite to see which one's better. Just in case, one more. Just about everything tastes better to me on this. The cheese, the tomato sauce, it's not so heavy nor as salty. Love the crust. I know the whole story behind that oven. It's actually the first time I've ever tried Juliana's, and this is definitely going towards the top of my list for best pie in New York City. I don't know if I'm putting this #1, but I'm gonna rank this 4.6. Easily the winner of today's pizza challenge. Juliana's defeats Grimaldi's. Quite a big victory for Juliana's. So obviously you know which one I would personally recommend and all of us would recommend.
Grimaldi's, Juliana's, it's a very iconic location under the Brooklyn Bridge. A lot of people come here for the pizza. There's definitely one that stood out among them all, and that is Juliana's. You know, they have the original coal oven, and it's Patsy Grimaldi. He's an icon in New York City pizza. He's worked at some of the best shops here, including he has the Patsy's in East Harlem. He had the original Grimaldi's here, and now Juliana's. You really taste the difference in that crust, that char. It's got that crisp at the edge, well-balanced flavors. It's got the oregano that makes it pop. The mozzarella is really good. The fresh mozzarella is delicious. The sauce is not salty nor too tangy. It's very well-balanced, delicious pizza.
Today, we're heading for Brooklyn to try New York's most famous old-school pizzeria, DiFara. We'll talk to one of the owners about the history, learn all about the ingredients, and I'll be joined by an Italian digital creator and business owner to get her take as well. Does DiFara live up to the legend? Watch till the end to find out. All right, guys, there are few pizza places I would dedicate an entire video to. DiFara's is one of them, and I am so pumped to try this place for the first time, and I brought along a special guest.
Yay! This is Chiari Lady Boss. I'm Italian born and raised, so it's so exciting to bring John with me today to try DiFara, which is one of the best pizza places in Brooklyn and New York City itself.
Well, it is time to go inside and talk to some people here.
I've been doing it since I was a little child. The first pie I made, I was 7 years old. He opened up here in 1965. He told me the story about he was driving with my grandfather, his father, and they passed by Avenue J, and he saw the crowds walking up and down Avenue J, and he said, I'm going to open up over there. And my grandfather said, you can't. You already put money down on this other place. You got to do it over there. He said, no, look at this. Look at all the people walking around. I'm going to open over there. Superhuman. He's like an alien or something. He's never, he worked on all holidays, Christmas, everything was about work. An old oven, yeah, this is the original oven. It's been here since 1965, and my father probably bought it used, because he bought everything used back then. So most of the equipment is from that time zone, 1965 NYC used when we opened up. This register, this is like a relic. We don't use it anymore. We used it for a long time. Whatever is the best is what he would put on the pizza. So if he found something and it's like, this is best, that's what he would put on the pizza. Well, we use extra virgin olive oil, so everything on the pizza is high quality. It's all high quality, it's all imported from Italy. There's so many like really intricate things to making pizza that people might not realize. Just the way you break the cheese and the way you put it on. I hand break the cheese. We don't grate it, we break it.
You break it, yeah, I saw that.
And I put it on a certain way with my hands. It's a little detail that people might not realize, and it matters. Little things really do matter. I mean, even in the texture of the sauce, if you put a little too much of a liquid or something to like, kind of water it down to some degree, it just a little bit could take it off what it is. Like it all, every little ounce. Everything's by hand, very rustic, with the way the old days. As time goes on, these things are changing. And you want to keep the authenticity of certain things. You want things to still remind you of this nostalgic.
Do you think someone coming here today who came here 30 years ago would get a similar experience or the same experience on the pizza?
Yeah, they could also tell. They could tell it's the same. The thing is that when we lost a lot of the old customers because we started getting a lot of tourists and things. And during the COVID, some of the old people have seen that they can get the pizza a little quicker and easier, and we're getting a lot of the customers back in the day. We have a few from all the way back in the day, but we're seeing a lot more faces.
This looks better in person than I thought it would, honestly. Really, it does. I didn't think it would look this nice. It's like a work of art. Look at this, like beautiful, thin crust. Oh my goodness, guys, that first bite, like the initial reaction to me was the olive oil and the basil, that combination. That was one of the most memorable first bites of pizza I've ever had in New York City. It was unbelievably good. Like, I just can't wait to try to take on the rest of this. What do you think?
I can't stop eating.
Look at this girl. Look at this girl.
I really like the taste of the basil.
Mm-hmm. Again, for me, the thing that keeps standing out is just the amount of olive oil they use. I don't know if I've ever been to a place that uses this much olive oil on pizza.
You think so?
And it really works. That is really standing out to me. Because they put it on before, and they put it on after it comes out as well.
That's what I do with mine.
That's what you do with yours. How would you, as an Italian, rank this versus other pizza places in New York City?
Immigrants, like Italians that came here a long time ago and started making pizza, they sometimes change the recipe, so throughout the years the taste changes, and it feels it's not authentic anymore in a way, or the taste has gone more towards like the Italian American style.
Yeah.
I think this is really true to the Italian style, so it's a very, very good pizza in my opinion.
Buonissima.
Cosa pensi di questa pizza? Ti sembra italiana?
Non entiendo.
Non capisco.
Non capisco.
Okay. What do you think about this pizza? Do you taste like some Italian in it? Have you been to Italy before?
I've been to Italy.
You've been to Italy. What do you think?
I would say the freshness of the ingredients here really stands out to me versus a lot of other places in New York City. I mean, the fresh olive oil, the tomato sauce, the buffalo mozzarella imported from the town that Dom grew up in. It's just such a good combination of ingredients. This is honestly something that I've never had in New York City before. Like, there's something unique about this pie. I can't put my finger on it, but that would make me want to come back here again and again. It is truly a unique pie for me. What I love about this place is that even if you came here in the 1970s, you come back here in 2020, the ingredients are just about the same. It's the same oven. It's practically the same experience. And now, with all the COVID travel restrictions, you don't have to wait an hour in line to try some of New York City's best pizza. So guys, I don't know, if you've never been to DiFara's, I think now would be an amazing time to come.
Yeah, that's true.
Guys, we wanted to try a square slice before leaving. We're almost full, so we cut a piece of it. You know, Dom Jr. was saying that some people will fight you to the death about liking the square slice better than the round slice. I've never tried this either. Let's see how it is. Really good. It's really rich and full, and I think that you couldn't eat too many of these in a row. I prefer the round one, but I understand why people like the square one too. So much tomato sauce, that basil, got a good piece of the mozzarella. It's really good. Our friend Chip came with us. He wanted to say something.
I mean, this has always been one of my favorite pizzas in New York, and me with a group of friends, we actually went to New Haven, Connecticut, which has 3 pizza spots that have been raved as like the best in the United States, and they've reached like top levels, and they're good, don't get me wrong, but they don't top DiFara's for me, so.